It's a day game, and it's in Cincinnati, and it's presented by Fruit of the Loom. Welcome, everybody. This has been a 4-game set. This is the concluding game as a result of the Reds having won 2 of the first 3. They have cut that Cardinal lead to 2.5, and they've increased their position in the wild card race as they are ahead by 1 game. Welcome, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne along with Steve Stone. First 3 games, 12 home runs by 11 different players. No reason to believe we won't see more of that kind of fireworks today, yet we're in a division that remains tight.
The Cardinals had some holes to fill, and they haven't filled them well. They've used 11 different left fielders. They're on their 5th second baseman. Things all not rosy in Cardinal land. One of the reasons they're 3-8 against these Cincinnati Reds. And for Cincinnati, Wayne Krivsky pretty much has acquired himself into a division race. Oh, by the way, he does lead the wild card, and Cincinnati poised to try to get to the postseason for the first time since 1999 when they lost a playoff with the Mets. This is a good offensive team. The question is, with a revolving door bullpen, can Cincinnati hold together?
Boy, in this ballpark, you need a bullpen. These two teams, home runs, will they keep coming in our day game? We're going to see some early autographs picked up. Young and old love day games, and so do we. It's a day game. With the days dwindling down to a precious few, Tony La Russa and the Cardinals know that their lead becomes ever more tenuous and more important than ever to put these wins away now, because the number of games left to do that with, folks, we're within the final 2 months of the season. For the St. Louis Cardinals, who've won only 3 of their last 10 games, there's the lineup with Eckstein, Duncan, Pujols, Edmonds. Spezio gets the start at third. Taguchi, Miles, Bennett, and Reyes. Eckstein, since the injury that he had against Pittsburgh, coming back, many say not the same. The average is 247, 18 runs. Those are not Eckstein kind of numbers. We'll see whether or not that will get better as we close out this 06 season. And on the mound,
Bronson Arroyo taking his tosses, 6'5", 190 pounds. He got off to a great start this year, made the All-Star team. He was 9-3 at one point. He's had 10 different opportunities to win his 10th game. He's got a real lively ballpark during the daytime and a pretty good offense to deal with, but he has a secret weapon, and that is he's gone to the cornrows.
The reason he's gone to the cornrows, you see, in Boston, Chris Corretti, who is the trainer there, said on Arroyo getting his 10th, you can't find Bo 10 for 10 unless you look like Bo. The Red Sox trainer said, Bronson, put your hair in cornrows. So Bronson today, he said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've been putting it off for 9 starts. I've got to do it. Bo Derek was 10 for 10. If you want to be 10 for 10, you want to find Bo, you got to have the row.
He also has to have that breaking ball. He throws 2 or 3 different breaking balls. Really, his best pitch is a fastball that's just about average, maybe a little above average, but he hasn't hit his spots. And the opposition of late taking advantage of it as Arroyo's really struggled. And this combination is something that the Cardinals can exploit with the running game.
You want to find Bo, you got to have Rowe. Holy cow. This is the new bandbox of Major League Baseball. More home runs hit here than anywhere else last year. There are going to be more home runs hit here this year than anywhere else, and a lot of those are hit by the Cincinnati Reds. Friel has been magnificent. He has had a couple of catches of late that are on the highlight reel forever. He is a get-down-dirty kind of ball player.
And he's also a guy that you can play anywhere, and although he prefers center field, he told me that was his favorite position. We're going to see him in right field today, and he probably has the best and most accurate arm in the outfield.
All right, we are ready to go. Can the Reds take 3 out of 4 against this St. Louis Cardinal ball club? David Eckstein will lead it off for the Cardinals, and an off-speed breaking ball is in for a strike.
Another thing to bear in mind, left-handers have hit over 100 points higher than the right-handers against Arroyo.
Bronson Arroyo, 257 opponents hit against him overall, and that one's going to be muscled out into left field for a base hit. So Eckstein, who has a terrible time game in and game out in his first at bat of any given game, this time delivers a base hit against Arroyo, and the Cardinals have the leadoff man on.
Normally it's David Eckstein that makes this offense go, and a healthy David Eckstein is a tremendous weapon for them. He has not been playing well. We talked about the collision at second base, but he seems to be getting back on the right track.
So Eckstein will create some problems on the base paths early in this game, hitting only .219 in his first plate appearance this year. So he outdid that one. And Chris Duncan now will try and keep it going. What a great surprise Duncan has been. He'll make the start in left field. Tony La Russa saying this morning, this is for real. He said this guy's got a great idea of the strike zone, a tremendously controlled swing, and can take the ball to all fields. They've been just delighted with his play.
And the Cardinals have worked with him on shortening that swing. At times it got a little too long. Now it's a lot shorter, and he can use left and left center field where he didn't do a whole lot of that before.
Duncan, this is the 46th game that he has played, takes that one high in the air to shallow right field. Friel, whom we were talking about, called off by Brandon Phillips, who's playing at second base. Duncan is retired. Eckstein remains at first base with one away, with Albert Pujols coming up.
This slammed the door in the first game. You see this catch in right center field. Ryan Friel comes out of nowhere, makes just an outstanding play. It'd have scored at least 2 and put Pujols in scoring position. As it was, that kept the game at 4-1. Cincinnati went on to win it.
Yeah, that was just a tremendous catch. That's as good as they get.
Well, you go talk to him, and I talked to him today. He's got scrapes all over his body, everywhere.
He gets kidded royally by his teammates. Dunn and Griffey were all over him in the clubhouse this morning on Friel. Albert Pujols, 7th in the league in average, 34 home runs, 3rd behind Howard and Soriano. Also among the leaders in RBIs with 91. Ryan Howard with 102 leads the National League in runs batted in. The 91 for Albert Pujols puts him in 4th place in the National League. And Pujols has got to stay healthy. They need that bat in the lineup, obviously, and especially with Scott rolling out again. Roland's not playing 3rd today. He had to leave with back spasms that took him out of the ball game yesterday. He's not playing today. Pujols Triple Crown rankings, there they are, 7, 3, and 5 in the batting average, home run, and RBI departments, making another run at the MVP award, which he, of course, won last season in the National League. And the off-speed pitch wanders outside.
It's probably a good pitch to run if you're David Eckstein, because they've gotten Pujols out by bouncing the breaking ball in the dirt. Last night he was over anxious in a couple of at-bats. Arroyo might decide to try to go down there again.
Ross has thrown out 5 of 17 against Arroyo. Base stealers 5 out of 7. This is going to be a double play. No! Bounces away as it hit Eckstein. He goes to second base. Phillips caught the line drive, had a great chance to convert it to a double play, but did not have an alley to throw the ball in. It's an error.
Well, you think this is going to be a base hit. Then you see where Phillips lined up. The ball's right there, and he didn't get an angle on the throw back to first. As you see, he hits him right in the back. Eckstein winds up at second base.
Well, let's see whether or not that proves to be a big break early in this ball game or not. Jim Edmonds will stand in with a runner on now at second base, and a break for the Cardinals. That should have been a double play in the inning over. Edmonds, who had the grand salami in the ball game last night in the first inning, and he takes that one foul outside of first.
Well, you'd think that Edmonds would absolutely be perfect to hit against Arroyo, but he's 0 for 9 lifetime. And last night in the first inning, he reached out and put 4 up on the board. The Cardinals led 4-0. As we all know, David Ross came through with a late home run, a walk-off job in the 9th inning, and Cincinnati came back to beat him.
That last night, that grand slam, his 6th career and his first one since April of 04. Eckstein with a big lead off second. Jimmy Edmonds. Edmonds was almost in center field when he took that swing.
And that's one of the reasons why he is 0 for 9 lifetime against Arroyo. Arroyo will use that curveball 2 or 3 different speeds. That was the soft floater. He had Edmonds well out in front of it.
He was hitting on his back foot, but after he'd already gone on his front foot. And then you come back and drive him back a little bit. Arroyo leans him away after he had him leaning out over the plate. That's a good pitch right there.
Certainly 0-2 it is, especially if you intend to go away with another one of those breaking balls.
See if Edmonds continues to lean out and looks for one of those pitches away. Fastball is up high by Arroyo. And leaving the count up at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the first inning.
Edmonds has a classic uppercut swing. He doesn't mind the ball away. He would prefer it up and away. That's the ball he hits out of the ballpark.
Eckstein not being held, with Castro, the shortstop, playing pretty well behind him out there. 2-2 delivery to Edmonds, and that one just missed. Ross framed that one a little bit, so after getting ahead a couple of strikes, it's full.
Well, he's going with 3 straight fastballs. This one he thought he had the inside corner, but I think that's a pretty good call by Alfonso Marquez. That one looked like it missed.
So a 3-2 count. Edmonds only .235 with runners in scoring position this season. Not big numbers in that department. 3-2 delivery. Toy takes that one to the gap. That'll up that number. There's a big base hit. Dunn over to get it. An RBI single for Edmonds. And the Cardinals take advantage of the break they got when that ball hit Eckstein on what should have been a double play to end the inning. And now Edmonds gets rid of the 0 for against Arroyo.
Now Edmonds is 1 for 10 against Arroyo. And this being a big one, he got the ball away. Amazingly enough, after 0-2, Arroyo went with 3 straight fastballs. That one wound up in left center.
64 RBIs on the season now for Edmonds. A big 2-out hit. Scott Spezio's got a 5-game hit streak for the Cardinals right now. He's one of the hottest hitters in the lineup. Spezio will get the start at third base today. There are the numbers that he has put up on the season. I asked Tony La Russa about Scott Rowland this morning, whether or not he thought he could even pinch hit. And he said, maybe, but I don't want to use it. So we're not going to get that back better if Rowland is being used in a ball game. So Scott Rowland's availability only in an emergency today. Slider down low.
And there's another factor. The Cardinals are going with 13 pitchers. And with Rowland iffy at best, it makes a very short bench for Tony La Russa. So don't look for a lot of changes. Pretty much what you see out there is the way it's going to be.
Spezio 0 for 7 against Arroyo, so he'll try and get rid of the 0 for. Strike taken on the inside corner. There is Scott Rowland. The back spasms have come and gone in the course of this season. Cannot afford to have him out of the lineup for very long when you got a guy hitting .319, 16 homers, and 73 RBIs. So that's a big bat not in there for the Cardinals today. Spezio and a breaking ball. Almost handcuff Ross, who hangs on to it, though, and it misses.
And with all due respect to Spezio, who's taking over at third, he's not the gold glove performer that Scott Rowland is. So this hurts him.
There are very few teams in baseball who can survive key injuries, big players, especially offensive players. The Cardinals can't. Breaking ball way out in front of it. Slower and slowest for Arroyo so far here in the first inning.
He's got to do something to neutralize the left-handers. He knows by and large he gets the right-handers out. That's the reason why Miles is in there today. Spezio from this side. And Edmonds, who drove home the run.
Spezio hitting .317 right-handed, .250 left-handed, and a fastball again misses down low. So early on here in this first inning, Arroyo's having trouble after he gets ahead of hitters. He's getting ahead as he went 0-2 on Edmonds, gave up a single on 3-2, got ahead of Spezio. Now here he goes again with 3-2.
And you see how he started, and look what's happened lately. Talking with Tom Hume, the pitching coach, he said he's just continually missing his spots.
Runner goes 3-2, and he walked him. What looked like it was going to be a relatively easy inning for Arroyo has become anything but that. As with a run in, a couple of singles and a walk, it will continue with 2 on and 2 down. So Taguchi will be coming up. Phillips still upset out there about that double play that wasn't made on that throw to first base that hit Eckstein, who has scored. So Taguchi's had 6 at-bats in this series and picked up 3 hits. A couple of home runs, 30 RBIs. He has scored 39 runs, and he whips that one to left. It's going to go on the foul side of the pole.
Well, Taguchi's been a very valuable man for Tony La Russa because he can play all the outfield positions. When he was in Japan for 10 years with the Oryx Blue Waves, he played with Ichiro in the same outfield. So he's a handy man because he can play any position interchangeably and usually gives you a pretty good at bat and very solid defense.
Taguchi's making the start in right field today. His first start out there. He gets fooled by the Arroyo off-speed pitch, and again an 0-2 count. And we'll see whether Arroyo can do something with it after getting ahead. He is a predominantly fly ball pitcher. That's tough in this park, you'd think, but he is 4-1 here in the home run land of Cincinnati with a 2.88 ERA in home games.
We saw last night how lively this park can be, and it's livelier in the daytime.
12 home runs in 3 games so far. Jammed him, and he fouls that one back and will hold the count at 2 strikes. Taguchi battling, and the thing early in this game to remember as it goes along is how many pitches Arroyo is having to come up with to start the ball game. You don't want that. 25 already. trying to get out of it somewhere around that dozen to 15 pitch mark. He has doubled it. Taguchi will take the slider outside.
Talking with Jerry Narron before the game, he says we need a long performance out of Arroyo today. He said, I've used that bullpen quite a bit. It's been completely turned over. Only 3 pensmen from the start of the season still in the bullpen today.
It's amazing. 17th pitch he's had to throw since that error kept the inning going, and he gets a strikeout. But a run in on a couple of hits, an error. 2 are left on base. Mr. Griffey will get a shot, hitting third. When we in our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. Overcast skies, 84 degrees. The manager of the surprising Cincinnati Reds team, Jerry Narron, has done a tremendous job this year. Friel, Hatteberg, Griffey, Encarnacion, Dunn, Phillips, Ross, Castro, and Arroyo, with Dunn since the All-Star break leading the way. With a 322, 6 home run, and 20 RBI set of numbers since coming back from Pittsburgh.
They've got decent speed on this team, and we'll look at Anthony Reyes, who goes to the mound. Looking for his 4th win. The ERA a little higher than he would like. He throws 4-seam fastballs. He will throw in the mid-90s occasionally, but pitches comfortably around 91, 92. And it doesn't sink as much as they would like.
24-year-old on the fastball. Friel was looking for it and fouls it back. He has become one of the delights of Cincinnati as far as baseball is concerned. Friel plays the way a lot of fans love to see guys go out on the field and play. Dirty uniform. Just a lot of gutsy effort is given out there, and the fans have appreciated it.
Well, for Reyes, he has to have a pretty deep outing because this bullpen for St. Louis has also been used and abused. That's why they're carrying 13 pitchers.
Inside. For those of you follow St. Louis, you may want to know Brad Thompson was recalled from AAA by the Cardinals yesterday to become that 13th pitcher. So Brad Thompson, right-hander in the bullpen. Reyes with a great changeup, and Friel goes down swinging. Nice pitch.
That's actually his best pitch, the straight change. Let's take a look at the defense as they line up for the St. Louis Cardinals. You see Duncan, Edmonds, and Taguchi left to right. Spezio at third today, only made a couple of errors. Scott Rowland normally plays there with Eckstein, Miles, and Pujols. Gary Bennett behind the plate. Yadier Molina with the day off so far.
And Scott Hatteberg, who's had anything but a day off, going 6 for 11 in this series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Look at the numbers that he's put up. I'm not sure, even though they thought he'd have a good offensive year, they thought you'd see 326 for an average here on the 10th of August.
And what they like about him is he's not one of these strikeout guys. He makes contact. That's one of the reasons why he's number 2 in the batting order. And he's really played well at first base. He started out a catcher.
That little nubber will come back to the mound. Reyes picks it up, makes the throw to Pujols. Hatteberg is retired, and Reyes gets the first 2 Cincinnati Reds. 2 down here in the first, and here comes Junior. Dan Griffey Jr. One of the reasons that average is not where he would like it is that amazingly, and it's really, he has no answer as to why he's hitting .215 at home. This is a hitter's ballpark. It's a home run hitter's ballpark. But he's only hitting .215 here. He does have 12 home runs. He's .285 on the road. And he takes the strike on the outside corner.
All hitters will tell you this is a great hitting background, but since the All-Star break, it's been anything but for Ken Griffey Jr.
Pretty amazing, but always dangerous. And there's a big home run cut taken and a 2-strike count on him.
Could very well be that's one of the reasons why his batting average is down here, because all he knows is if he makes any contact at all, it'll go out at any part of this ballpark. Sometimes you have a tendency to overswing. That's why it's into 2 teens.
You start thinking about the long ball in a park that gives it up. He is 21st all time in extra base hits, but he's not going to add to it here. A 1-2-3 inning for Anthony Reyes, and he gets a couple of strikeouts with the Cardinals leading 1-0. Great to have you with us here in Cincinnati, the Queen City. On an 84-degree day, overcast, chance of thunderstorms to be moving around the area. We'll hope that's where they go, is around the area. You take a look from across on the Kentucky side to the skyline of Cincinnati. Bronson Arroyo ready to go to work. The off-speed delivery is taken by Aaron Miles. Got his major league days in before the Cardinals with Colorado. Acquired in the deal with the Rockies for Larry Bigby in 05, and he rips that one to right field. Good wood. That's going to be way back there and hit the base of the wall. Ricochets by Friel, and it'll be a double. Aaron Miles clocked that one, and he's got a leadoff double. So the Cardinals 2 innings, 2 leadoff men on.
It's one of the reasons why they try to put as many left-handers as they can in the lineup. Aaron Miles, a switch hitter with better numbers actually from the right side, but he crushes this ball, and it doesn't take much to get over the head of Ryan Friel. Friel slipping, but Miles had already pretty much broken it down into a double, and that's where he stands with nobody out.
Good leadoff double right there. That'll be the 15th two-bagger of the year for him, and Gary Bennett, who's getting the start behind the plate, gets the RBI opportunity. 38th game that he has played in. Bennett hitting just 198 on the season, and late on a fastball from Arroyo for strike 1. Molina getting the break as the starting catcher for the Cardinals today. Cardinals will be moving on to Pittsburgh, where they will take on the Pirates in a set, continuing their road trip. Cincinnati is concluding a 10-game homestand. They lost 3 to LA, went 2-1 against Atlanta, and are trying to go 3-1 against the Cardinals on this long homestand. Another late swing outside of first.
St. Louis isn't getting much from behind the plate offensively. Molina's hitting .217. Bennett's hitting .198. They do, however, love the defense of Yadier Molina. He can single-handedly shut down a running game, and he takes you out of that secondary lead, because if you stray too far, he'll pick you up. So Tony La Russa loves the defense, would like to see him hit a little bit better. This so far has been his toughest year in the big leagues offensively.
28th start today for Bennett, with Molina sitting over there, and the pitch misses outside. I'm sure, Steve, the Cardinals figured with the thrust they had in this lineup, with everybody healthy, you can afford to take a couple of positions without big bats, and catcher would be one of those for his defense.
Well, certainly they let Matheny go, and they felt that Molina was going to be a productive everyday catcher, hitting the 250s, which would be fine with them.
Yeah. 2-1 strikeout with 2 down, and Arroyo, he's got a couple of strikeouts as Bennett goes down, and there's one away here in the second inning.
This is just another example of what he can do with that breaking ball. He drops down from the side. That's why right-handers don't hit him particularly well. Bennett out on the front foot. You can see the backside wasn't willing.
The mind wanted to go there, but One down. Runner on at second base. Reyes 1 for 15 at the plate. 1 hit in his career, 1 for 19 in his career.
Well, normally when the opposing pitcher starts a pitcher out with a breaking ball, they have some scouting reports saying that Reyes swings the bat well. He did go to Southern Cal. He might have learned a thing or two from Mark Pryor. They were teammates.
Yes. Another breaking ball that sweeps in on the outside corner, and an 0-2 count.
Pitchers just love that. Here you are hitting .067. You come out, you get 2 breaking balls, you have no chance. If you could hit those, you wouldn't be a pitcher.
See what Arroyo does with him. Fastball, the outside's where he wants it, and that's where it was, and it's fouled back. Another day game today. The Padres had a 2-0 lead over the Mets in 2. The Mets have come back and taken a 3-2 lead in the 3rd. Keep an eye on games that are going on for you. The great wild card races in both Western divisions wide open.
I think it's going to be a little tough for those Padres in the West, because the Dodgers, even though they were interrupted last night, are playing great baseball.
Dodgers are right now look as though they're the team to beat. Peavy and company have got to come up with a little more of the pitching they thought they had.
Don't overlook the Diamondbacks. They just got Livan Hernandez. That's a pretty good team out there, and you don't have to play great baseball to win the West.
And that fastball comes inside, and a 2-ball 2-strike counted again. Arroyo kind of wasting pitchers here. There's the standings by the flags. You take a look at the West in the National League.
Arizona and Los Angeles just a half a game back.
It's amazing. Trying to play 500 ball and win it out there.
Well, last year 82 wins did win it. Not going to take money more than that this year.
2-2 delivery. Reyes launches one to center field for a base hit. Miles the turn. Griffey the throw. They hold the runner up. Well, there you go. The scouting report apparently was right.
And that's one of the reasons why he started him off with 2 curveballs. It just told you that he can swing the bat some. That's a breaking ball that stays right in the middle of the plate. David Ross wanted it low and away. Arroyo didn't get it there. It goes hand in hand with the reasons why he's trying for the 10th time to win his 10th game. Location has not been what Bronson Arroyo would have wanted.
See, a very strange start for a pitcher. I mean, one of the first rules, throw that first strike, get the first out. He is throwing the first strike and the second strike, and then he's losing the hitters.
I think sometimes you have a tendency to get a little too fine when you're well ahead of the hitter. I was all for trying to wipe him out as soon as I could.
Yeah.
Unless you're thinking of a setup pitch up and in, but he's been missing away a lot.
David Eckstein delivered a single, scored the unearned run in the first inning. Now Eckstein up there with runners on at first and third.
What Eckstein does real well is take the inside pitch, fight it off, and dump it into right or right center field.
256 with runners in scoring position for the leadoff hitter this year. With Duncan on deck. First and third. Arroyo misses with that one. Well, no sooner do we talk about him getting ahead on the count here when he starts to struggle. 2-0 with one down. Arroyo, 9th in ERA in the league at 3.47. He has pitched against this Cardinal team twice, has come away with a win and a no decision. He is 1-2 lifetime against the Cardinals. The look to third, back to first, nowhere to go with the baseball. Boy, do the Reds ever need him to get back into that win column. I mean, here you are 2.5 games out, and your supposed ace of the staff is not 1 in 9 starts. That one is foul back off speed. Eckstein tried to wait on it, but had a lunge at it ultimately, and it's 2-1.
Well, despite pretty good speed, Eckstein is still grounded into 7 double plays. That's what Arroyo is thinking about in this situation.
Eckstein keeps looking down to third here.
They have Royce Clayton, but it's Castro playing today. Castro is kind of a super sub acquired from Minnesota. Royce Clayton acquired from the Nationals.
Delivery to him is foul back again. He had one to jump on there and didn't get it. He was looking fastball and got one, and a 2-ball 2-strike count on David Eckstein.
Normally Eckstein, one of the toughest men to strike out in all of baseball. This year no exception. 450 at bats. He's fanned 38 times.
Going to put the ball in play someplace out there most of the time. Arroyo. Here's the 2-2 delivery to him, and he got him.
Make that 39 times.
And make that 3 strikeouts for Bronson Arroyo.
One of the better pitches Arroyo has thrown today. This is just a fastball on the outside corner after seeing a steady diet of breaking balls. Just outguessed Eckstein.
So he's got a chance to get out of this inning after the leadoff double by Miles. Moved over to third with one away, and the Reyes singled. Still first and third. And here is Chris Duncan, who popped out his first time up. 5 for 10 with a home run in the first 3 games of this series. And Duncan takes it down low.
A lot of people wonder why St. Louis wasn't busier. Walt Jocketty, a very good GM, but every time he called to make a trade with somebody, if it was a meaningful deal, it was Chris Duncan or Adam Wainwright, the 2 men they named, and they didn't want to get rid of either of them.
Duncan, too good a hitter. Wainwright, too good a pitcher. Is going to be a starter for them, maybe sooner than later. Duncan with the RBI chance here. This is the one position he has struggled in, hitting only .219 with runners in scoring position. Hatterberg plays behind the runner at first with a left-hander hitter up there, and Arroyo misses down low with it. 2-ball 1 strike count, 2 down. There are his numbers when he gets the RBI chance. Duncan's got some power, especially if he can get around on one and pull it. Another off-speed delivery, foul back.
He's got some pretty good power, but he's especially good when he thinks about left center field, because they try to stay away from him a lot. And there's a lot of runs driven into the opposite field if you can get it there.
And now Duncan will take it anywhere if he can get it to fall in and get at least 1 RBI out of this. Miles off third, Reyes off first. Arroyo, the ground ball, fouled off. 48 pitches for Bronson Arroyo already, and we are only in the 2nd inning.
I would think that rebuilt bullpen Wayne Krivsky has used out there will come into play in this one, and probably earlier than Jerry Narin, the skipper, would want.
That's a lot of pitches early, and they're counting them over there, and that'll become an early concern. Delivery to Duncan, off speed, and he got him. Arroyo's got 4 strikeouts, no runs, 2 hits, 2 are left on. Cardinals have stranded 4 in the first 2 innings. 1-0 lead for the Cardinals, 4th game of this 4-game stand, with the Reds having won 2 of the first 3. 84 degrees at game time today, and it is humid. Very little, if any, breeze blowing here today, unless you make it happen. Yeah, that's right, by waving. They've had 6 sellouts. This series with the Cardinals has really drawn well. A lot of youngsters coming to the ballpark today with the gloves in their hands, peanuts in the other, and half price on the hot dogs today. So you know there's going to be some fine dining going on at the Great American Ballpark.
Don't forget the 5-way chili.
Encarnacion will take the pitch outside. Is a 5-star chili your favorite?
Well, Gold Star.
Gold Star.
There's Skyline.
Yeah.
And you can have it 5 or 6 ways.
Or 7.
I really dislike them anyway.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your contribution to the economy of Cincinnati. That is taken inside, and a 2-0 count from Reyes.
I think you have to be raised with that chili. There's the most unique taste.
Oh, you'll get
here in
raised with
Cincinnati.
the chili.
Yes.
Just try it. Try it. You'll see. The 2-0 delivery and a foul ball as he hung one up high that time to Encarnacion, who's batting in the cleanup spot and also playing some pretty good D.
This one down the line, and Encarnacion shows you he's pretty quick. The only problems he has defensively are occasionally with his throws, and they've worked with him trying to get him a little more consistent. Nothing wrong with his hands.
And nothing wrong with his backside. A leadoff man on here in the 2nd inning. That was just a floater that got away from him.
If you're going to get hit, it's best to get hit with a straight change. And that's exactly what this was.
So Reyes plumpsing in the backside. The 5th battery is hit. And here is Dunn. He's on at first base, and he's all right. Encarnacion. Big powered bat. 34 home runs and 80 RBIs. He is tied with Albert Pujols for 3rd in homers in the league. And he is 8th in RBIs with 80.
They also have a shift for him, although it's not as radical as some of the other left-handed pull hitters we've seen. Eckstein is playing almost behind the bag at 2nd. Last night Dunn hit an opposite field home run, so there's no part of the ballpark that's safe when he's hitting.
Reyes delivery time. Slider off speed inside. Here's the one you were talking about, Steve.
He just touched this ball. This is a breaking ball away from Chris Carpenter, and it just kept on going. Where it says 379 there in the power alley, the ball just rockets out of here.
It flies. The home run Jim Edmonds had last night with the Cardinals, a flick of the bat opposite field for him too. And Dunn on the off speed pitch fouls it off. Dunn likes this ballpark. He's had 19 home runs here at home. That is the 2nd highest number of homers for a player in his own yard this year in the National League. And since the All-Star break, it's gotten only better on the average side. 322. Dunn here at home hitting 241, 272 on the road, but more home runs here at home than on the road.
But he is going to draw over 100 walks this year.
And a great off-speed delivery on the outside part of the plate. Boy, there was a butterfly for you.
Fortunately, he had Dunn well out in front of it.
Good pitch by Anthony Reyes. Dunn has struck out 132 times. He leads the National League in that department too. Ryan Howard is 2nd at 128. Dunn has some of the most incredible groupings of numbers you ever see in baseball. It's all or nothing. He has now struck out 133 times, and Reyes gets his 3rd K.
You hear of some hitters who shorten their stroke with 2 strikes or look to hit the ball the opposite way. That's not really Adam Dunn. Wherever he happens to hit it, he hits it, and normally he hits it a long way or doesn't make any contact at all.
Some batters are embarrassed by strikeouts. Others, power hitters like Dunn, are not. They just see that as part of their game. There you see the strikeouts and how they've accumulated and are doing so again this year. Reached that 195 mark.
He's also going to be 4 years at over 100 walks.
Yeah.
That helps the
It's
club.
amazing. Strikeouts, walks, home runs.
That's it.
That's it.
He's grounded into 6 double plays. I looked at it again because I can't remember ever seeing him hit 6 ground balls in all the time that I've covered him.
Big uppercut swing. Brandon Phillips up's gone 1 for 8 here in this series. Runner on at first base, Encarnacion, who got plunked, being held by Pujols. Off the end of the bat, fouled off.
A little later on, we're going to be talking with Wayne Kriske, the general manager of this Cincinnati team. Brandon Phillips, one of the guys he brought over from Cleveland. Just brought over Todd Hollandsworth in another deal. He has completely reworked his bullpen. He's been very busy within the framework of a low revenue team.
Has given up very little, spent very little, and got a lot. If you're a GM, that's got to be a pretty good job well done.
He's a guy that's paid his dues with Minnesota under Terry Ryan. Finally got a chance here. The second time he was interviewed. But for me, with all due respect to the GMs having good years, Wayne Krivsky would have to be the executive of the year because of what he's done with his Cincinnati team.
Agreed on that. Runner fakes the go, and he hits him. So Reyes has plunked 2 here in the inning, putting Encarnacion, who he hit first, down at second, and now Phillips to first.
Tony La Russa can't be real happy with his inning. It's another changeup, and he's getting under the ball and sitting on top of it. That's one of the reasons why he's losing all conception of the strike zone.
Big hand, David Ross, the walk-off homer last night.
Everybody I talked to, all the scouts and everyone else, is wondering where the power came, because although at one point David Ross hit 15 home runs in the minor leagues, this is his major league high, and that's number 14, and that was a no-doubter. That was against the batter's eye in left center field. It was a bomb last night.
Tony La Russa said today before the game, he said, this is not a fair ballpark. It's a home run hitter's yard. But he said that home run that won the ball game last night, that was fair. That would have been gone anywhere. Ross with 2 on and 1 down. 2 for 5 in the series with a homer, and getting a chance as a result to work back in behind the plate yet one more time for the Reds. And obviously all smiles today. He said last night the crowd, I mean, it just rattled the seats when he hit that home run. The fans did, with the noise level here. He said, I'm rounding the bases, couldn't hear a thing. And that's kind of indicative of the way things are for Cincinnati right now. Baseball is back as they look to the postseason. The off-speed delivery is up high.
One of the things to think about is the double play combination, and Miles at times has some trouble getting the ball out of his glove and getting it away to complete the double play. Eckstein very dependable at shortstop.
Cardinals leading it by a score of 1-0, but tenuous here in the second inning. Ross waiting on it, and he pops that one up back behind the screen. That'll be out of play. And a 1-ball 2-strike count.
I think one of the reasons why the Cardinals aren't pulling away in the last couple of years, they've just dominated the Central. 105 and 65 in 04 and 05. Not so this year. They're 3 under 500 against the Central.
A much different season for a different team that has not had the numbers that they've needed, especially in the pitching department. Another changeup. Boy, we are seeing both pitchers take advantage of the changeup here in the first 2 innings of this game. 4 strikeouts.
You can see the arm angle the same as the fastball. Everything looked the same to the hitter. Ross thought it was a fastball, and the ball just dives out of sight. So if you stay ahead of hitters, you can use that very effectively.
Well, we saw Arroyo get out of a jam in the second after a leadoff double. Now after a leadoff hit batter and another one with 2 down, a chance for Anthony Reyes to get out of this inning. Juan Castro, playing at shortstop today, comes up with 2 down and 2 on. Each pitcher now has had 4 strikeouts. Cincinnati has put only 1 ball in play, and that was Scott Hatterberg, the second batter in the first inning, who grounded out. And that only went to the mound. A look back at second base. There wasn't anyone within 100 feet of the bag. Just trying to keep Encarnacion from leaning towards third. 24-year-old right-hander for the Cardinals, watching that runner out there at second base. And a pretty good lead because the infielders are spread out in the middle. Breaking ball misses outside.
This is his second trip around for Castro here in Cincinnati. When he was here last time, Hall of Fame broadcaster Marty Brenneman said he thought he was one of the best utility men in all of baseball. It's one of the reasons why Wayne Krivsky went and got him back from the Twins. He's back here and hitting over 300 in that Cincinnati uniform.
Came here on June 15. Brandon Roberts going the other way. Comes in with a fastball this time, and a good one in the strike zone. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Castro will get some playing time. All these teams, even though they are in a race, have to try and keep their starters as fresh as you can in the dog days of baseball. And that means, especially in games like this, day game after a night game, you try and get some of the guys off the bench into the lineup. Put that one up high and pulled a little off that one as well.
Well, talking to Tony La Russa before the game, that's one of the things he said about his pitching staff. He goes, all things being equal, we will protect our pitchers. That's why we're carrying 13 of them. With the back problems of Roland, he's working with maybe the shortest bench he's had in quite some time.
He was joking about that. Tony said, well, less I have to worry about it. I can't screw things up too badly because I haven't got many changes I can make. 1-2. Here's the delivery, and it's up high, trying to get him to chase that one, and Castro stays off it. Castro's getting his first at bat in this series against the St. Louis Cardinals, making that start at shortstop. And he's got a chance for a big hit right here. 262 with runners in scoring position for Castro on the year. Slider that's bounced in the dirt. Good stop made by Gary Bennett. 3-2.
And one of the things the Cardinals would love to see from Reyes is when you have a chance to put a hitter away, put him away. Because the pitches start to pile up, and before you know it, you're knocking at the door of 100, and you're not through the 5th inning.
Both these pitchers are having that problem today. Reyes 3 wins, 5 losses, most of the season at the minors last year, 1-1 with the Cardinals. Made 1 start, appeared in 4 games last season. Runners at first and second are off, down to third, and that's a foul ball. Well, the Reds trying to take advantage here of the 3-2 count with 2 down. You get those runners going, get a base hit even, you get an opportunity maybe to score that runner who is Brandon Phillips from first base.
Jerry Narin's done a nice job. He came here without as much as a promise of continued work. He recently has re-upped for a couple more years, so he's going to be around. He's done a great job managing this team.
Especially if this team's able to move into the postseason via the division of the wild card. Again, the 3-2 runners go, and the bases are loaded. An inauspicious start for both of these starters insofar as the number of pitches they're having to throw, and La Russa clearly a little concerned about that. Now comes Bronson Arroyo. Arroyo can hit the long ball. In his Reds debut on April 5, he had his first career home run off Glendon Rush of the Cubs. He went 6 2/3 good innings. Glendon Rush does not want to see any more of Bronson Arroyo because on April 11 he did it again against him in the 3rd inning. 2 home runs, both off Rush. 6 RBIs.
And a splendid 130 batting average. So when he's not hitting it out of the park, he's not doing a whole lot other than that.
He's learning from Adam Dunn. He's taking Dunn lessons. All right, bases loaded, and the breaking ball is for a strike. Look where he's standing, Steve. He is way up in the front of that batter's box. So he thinks he's going to see some breaking balls.
And he would be one of the first because he's going fastball straight change. Maybe he just wants to get a good running start on a top ground ball in the infield.
Or a good running start back to the mound. And the pitch misses outside. Wow. 1 ball, 1 strike count, 2 down. Sacks are full. Reyes hit Encarnacion to start the inning. He hit Phillips with 2 down. And now Castro drawing the walk. Have loaded the bases for Bronson Arroyo. 1-1 delivery. Missed outside with it. 2-1.
Young pitchers sometimes have a problem, and that is trying to be too fine with each and every pitch.
He's going for the corners against the opposing pitcher. Arroyo fouls that one back. He got one to jump on, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Cardinals lead at 1-0. Arroyo trying to help his own cause. Get Encarnacion in from 3rd. Maybe Phillips from 2nd. And with a little luck, Castro from first base. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Duncan pretty deep in left field on Arroyo. Edmonds has moved in a little in center. Taguchi straight away in right. And he takes it to right field. Taguchi going back on the warning track and hauls it in. Bronson Arroyo brought the big crowd to its feet, but it's Reyes who wins the battle. They leave the bases loaded. Steamboat action? Well, it looks like one, but I doubt it, on the Ohio River as they apply a little tourism trade right outside the ballpark here in Cincinnati. Great new ballpark and a beautiful view looking across to Kentucky. The Cardinals have a 1-0 lead. The RBI, Jim Edmonds got it, an RBI single that came in the first inning, an unearned run. And now we'll get Pujols, Edmonds, and Spezio coming to the plate against Bronson Arroyo. Pujols lined out his first time up. He's now 3 for 12 of the home run lifetime off the 29-year-old right-hander for the Reds. And the breaking ball is outside for ball 1. We know that Steve Stone is one of the all-time great race car drivers that we've ever had in this nation. If you've ever ridden with him back to Chicago. Sam Hornish Jr. is joining us here. Sam, you got to watch out for the guy on your right. A two-time IndyCar Series champion and the 06 Indy 500 champion. Sam Hornish Jr. joining us here in the booth. Great to have you with us. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
And you're wearing your Cincinnati shirt. Are you a fan of the Reds?
Well, I am, actually, and it's pretty neat. They made me one with my name on the back of it, which is you never think that that's ever going to happen in your lifetime.
Well, you win Indy and things like that happen.
Pujols on the ground ball out, played by Aaron Canesion. Jimmy Edmonds will be coming up. Sam, it has been obviously a great year for you. Things have gone really well, huh?
Yeah, everything's gone about as good or better than what you could have expected, and you know, to win Indy, everybody says, you know, what else are you going to do from there? Yeah, we want to go on and win the championship, but if we don't end up winning the championship, we can't be too disappointed. We won the biggest race that there is in the world, so we're pretty excited about that. And I just can't imagine. I don't know how much my life has changed. I would have never expected it to be this way, but I've had a lot of fun with it so far.
You get a chance to see many games because, you know, when you're wearing the Reds, they're right in the middle of the race. The team is got a wild card shot.
Actually, with as much stuff as I've been having to do extra.
Jimmy Edmonds got a hold of that one way back in right field. Has it got enough legs on it? Yeah, goodbye home run. Friel went up and tried to haul that back in, but Jim Edmonds delivers the dinger, and the Cardinals now have a 2-0 lead.
Edmonds has both of the runs batted in. 65 for the year. We told you left-handers have torched Arroyo. This is just a high fastball, and Edmonds doesn't hit it a long way but gets it just far enough. Friel gives it everything he's got. It comes up a touch short.
18 home runs on the season now for Jim Edmonds. The second of this series. He had gone 0 for 9 against Arroyo before today. Down to first base. Hatterberg will make the flip. Arroyo gets it. Spezio is retired. Sam, one of the you've got a big race coming up that we want to talk about here this weekend, yeah?
Yeah, we're racing this weekend in Kentucky. Really just one of those places that I really love to go to. It was where I led my first laps in IndyCar competition. Basically after this race in 2000 was when I got my job to drive for Pennzoil Panther Racing, which led me to the 2 championships, which led me to the 500 win with Roger. And I think that this place means a lot to me. It's still only about 3.5 hours away from home, so we have a whole lot of fans that get to make it down here for us, so we just really love this place.
We're going to see you on ABC 3:30 for that race on Sunday. Sam, we wish you well. Great to see you, and thanks for dropping by.
Well, thanks a lot for having me.
All right. Sam Hornish, you'll be watching Immerse on ABC. The home run by Edmonds, and the Cardinals up 2-0. Nothing lead. Jim Edmonds, both RBIs. As we take a look to the postseason, we trying to separate the contenders from the pretenders.
And I think the Mets are going to be there, quite obviously running away in the East. You look at the Cardinals, a little tenuous, but I think they wound up winning the Central. As far as the Reds, Astros are concerned, they're going to be right there in the wild card hunt, along with those teams in the West. I don't think the Padres hold up, personally. I think the Dodgers win that, but don't discount the Diamondbacks as far as the wild card is concerned.
4.5 games separating the National League West. 5 teams. I mean, that's just a heck of a race. I don't know. If I had to pick right now in that West, I don't know that I could.
Could very well you'd have every team with the same record.
Yeah.
That could conceivably happen.
I picked the Padres at the preseason because I thought their pitching would get it done for them, but it hasn't been what they thought it would be.
But I'll tell you what, when you look at some of the youngsters, Stephen Drew playing for the Diamondbacks, Carlos Quentin, they just added Livan Hernandez. Brandon Webb's having a great year for them. It's hard to write that team off, and you got a resurgent Louis Gonzalez maybe playing for a contract. So the Diamondbacks have done a terrific job staying in the race. Ned Colletti has got the Dodgers as hot as they could be. They just added Greg Maddux.
Big cut and a miss on that one as we're in the third inning. Ryan Friel struck out his first time up, 4 for 13 in the series. 297 now on the season. Cincinnati's had the chance, left the bases loaded in the second inning. They've had the leadoff man on one of the first two. Friel getting a chance.
Friel can just get on. He's going to run against the combination of Reyes and Bennett.
He can really raise some hackles out there from the Cardinals side. At first you got to get on base, and he's not going to do it that way. So he has now struck out both times to the plate. And there's one away. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. It'll be Sunday at 8 on ESPN. Bonds and the Giants take on the Dodgers. J.D. Drew and company. The Dodgers we were just talking about. It'll be Jason Schmidt 9-7 and Greg Maddux 10-11. The almost a no-hit if it hadn't been for the rain. Greg Maddux. That'll be Sunday night on ESPN.
Pretty good debut with the Dodgers. 6 hitless innings.
And the fastball taken for a strike. Hatterberg grounded out his first time up. Scott Hatterberg is 6 for 12 against the Cardinals.
One of the few guys in this lineup to actually make some contact.
And now you see Reyes. I have a feeling Dave Duncan, the pitching coach of the Cardinals, probably had a discussion with Reyes. You see now fastball strikes being thrown early and not nibbling.
Well, he also said with our bullpen the way it is, we can't afford you to leave this game early.
So he's coming at hitters a little more here. Fastball misses up high. They put a little shift on here against Hatterberg as well. Left-handed hitter with the shortstop. There's Dave Duncan, the pitching coach. Eckstein's moved way over, almost behind second base. They give him the big hole between short and third.
What they try to do is throw fastballs in under his hands, and with Reyes, you know, the straight changes there, and normally if Hatterberg makes contact with it, he's going to top it to the right side.
The new look baseball. Second baseman will play on the grass in right field against left-handed hitters. That one off the end of the bat the other way. Spezio will give chase, and it'll end up as a foul ball in the seats.
That's part of the art of knowing how to defense the other team. The only question comes in when you have your meetings, can your pitcher execute the way that the defense is lined up?
Tony La Russa, no one tries to execute on each pitch with positioning. No one more than he does as a manager. There's a great base hit. That pitch was where he wanted it. Got it away, maybe out of the strike zone, but Hatterberg was willing to take it and not try and pull it, and gets a base hit with one down.
That's why in this lineup he's one of the toughest guys to strike out, because he'll do things like that.
Now Junior gets a chance with a runner on. 22nd all-time on the RBI list. 21st on the extra base hit list. Cruising along with all those career home runs. Added to with 23 so far on the season. And now Griffey with one down and one on. Strikeout victim his first time up. Will take the off-speed delivery. Down low and inside for a ball.
Hatterberg without much of a lead at first base. That's allowing Albert to come off with the pitch. You don't want to stray too far, because especially on a changeup, you don't want the ball rifled behind you.
Reyes got it in. Griffey pops it up. Second base. Behind the bag, the shortstop Eckstein. And he's got it. So Griffey is retired. And now a big out and 2 down.
When the Cardinals acquired Eckstein as a free agent, one of the things that they insisted upon was a new workout regimen which would strengthen his arm. And that's exactly what he's done. The Cardinals are happy he doesn't have the greatest arm at shortstop. It usually is just enough to get there ahead of the base runner. But it's gotten stronger the last couple of years, and that's because of what the Cardinals have put him through.
Just in time, Eckstein. And that off-speed delivery's on the inside corner. Encarnacion got hit by a pitch his first time up. He has a 6-game hitting streak, going 9 for 19 during the streak that he's on, and raising that average up to 296.
He was disabled with an ankle injury, but his manager Jerry Narron thinks he's got a chance to be a star.
Waves at the floater.
Still a very young man, and as you can see, they love to hit fastballs, but patience usually is a problem.
It is tough, and made even more so by a park, as we said, that gives up so many homers. You want to go after these pitchers and try and drive the ball. And sometimes you just, as a hitter, take your own timing away from yourself. 2 strikes. See where he puts it here. Outside part of the plate. Eckstein going back. Duncan coming in. Eckstein wants it and puts it away. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left on. 4 have been stranded on the banks of the Ohio by the Reds. The Cardinals lead it 2-0. On the outside corner, he doubled in his first at bat. 3rd hit he's had against Arroyo in his career, 3 for 9. Bronson Arroyo a walk and 4 strikeouts, and that's going to be another base hit. Miles will make a big turn and make his way to second base. Dunn up with it, and he goes in with a stand-up double. So the switch hitter has doubled twice in the ball game, and the leadoff man is on for the 3rd time in 4 innings.
That's just hustle on the part of Miles. He was thinking 2 bases when this one went in the gap. Dunn goes over, but can't get there near in time. That's one of the reasons why you play your left-handers.
Yes. The left-handers against Arroyo hit .302. The right-handers hit .210. You would call that a substantial difference. Gary Bennett, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Again, Arroyo having to work with that runner on at second base, as he did when Miles got the leadoff double in the 2nd inning.
And that was a base hit by Reyes. They still didn't score. He wound up striking out the side and getting out unscathed.
Living dangerously here is Arroyo. Gary Bennett, 28 start behind the plate. It's an RBI chance here, and another off-speed breaking ball. That thing moves about 3 or 4 feet and takes about 2 days to get to the plate.
From Arroyo's standpoint, he wants you, if you are guessing, to guess curveball, but you can't guess the velocity because he throws 3 different velocities.
Big sweeping pitch. Now look for a fastball, and there it is on the inside corner. Hitting is timing, and pitching is screwing up that timing. And right now both of these guys are doing that.
You would think that a guy who doesn't get all that many at-bats would be very susceptible to another one of those low breaking balls out of the zone.
You as a Cy Young Award winner would say that?
I would think that that would be a good pitch right here.
Okay. Set up outside, and he is gone. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to introduce you to the resident genius at ESPN when it comes to pitching. Calling all pitches at all times correctly, Steve Stahl.
That wasn't a difficult call after the way that Bennett went after the breaking ball before. But certainly Arroyo is one of those guys that has to be perfect with his control. When he has been today, he's okay, but this hasn't been one of his better efforts, making his 10th try at his 10th win.
That is amazing. Still got a runner on at second base. Whether or not they can get something going here. Runners in scoring position today for the Cardinals. 7 chances. They're 2 for 7, but they have had 5 strikeouts with runners in scoring position. Arroyo's got 5 strikeouts. Reyes trying to help his cause. Falls behind on a 2-strike count. Bottom part of the order has had the opportunity to try and do some damage today for the Cardinals and for Cincinnati, and they haven't been able to do it. That fastball is outside. 1 ball, 2-strike count.
For the Cardinals, if they can come away with a victory here, what they do is keep Cincinnati exactly where they were when they came in and took 4 clicks off the schedule.
Amazing Central Division, where a team leading the Cardinals have had a couple of 8-game losing streaks, and in those streaks didn't lose a game in the lead. That's impossible.
Well, it's almost inconceivable that this Cardinal team that's won 205 games the last couple of years could have 2 8-game losing streaks in the same season.
Pretty amazing. They had their first losing month since '03 when they had a losing month in June, and now having trouble getting the signs down, so Ross will go out and take a look with Arroyo. The problem has been for these teams gaining any ground that they haven't been very good. And you see the Cardinals able to maintain that 2.5, and then you get to the Astros. The team that's in 3rd place is 3 games under 500.
To me, it's hard to write the Astros out. They got Backey back in the rotation, along with Clemens and Oswalt and Pettit. To me, that's a team, now that Lidge is throwing well again, that you have to contend with. They're going to probably be around the wild card before it's over.
Yep. 2 strikeouts in a row after the Miles double. 6 strikeouts for Arroyo in the game. And now there are 2 down, and David Eckstein will come to the plate, the leadoff batter, who has struck out, singled, and scored a run.
There will be a play at the plate. If they keep Miles close at second base, even on a base hit, because the outfield playing shallow for Eckstein, they've got a shot at Miles. The sweep round will show you the defense. The best arm in the outfield, probably Friel in right field.
Arroyo's career high in strikeouts is 12. He got it with the Red Sox. He's got 6 so far today. 2 down. Runner on at second base. And a strike on the inside corner with a fastball.
So far, nobody paying much attention to Aaron Miles out at second. The closest guy to him is Brandon Phillips, and he's letting him take a huge lead.
Phillips snuck in a little bit, but well after that pitch was on the way. The slider misses outside. Eckstein evens it up at 1-1. He's had 6 hits in 14 at bats in these 4 games against the Reds.
Arroyo came dangerously close to balking there because he took a long time on the first pitch. That one almost looked like a quick pitch.
Eckstein waiting. You saw he had to sit on that. He's got the stride done. Off-speed pitch, had to wait, so then you're stuck with having to use your body to try and get a hit because you've given up the bottom half. You're left with the top half, shoulders and wrists. And he couldn't get around on it. 1 ball, 2 strike count. 2 down. Miles extending that lead at second base, and Eckstein takes the heater away. 2-2.
Well, that's where he got him the last time up in the second inning. After a steady diet of slow breaking balls, he threw a good fastball low and away in a perfect spot and fanned a very tough man to strike out.
David Eckstein against Arroyo. Picked up 6 hits off him in his career and trying to get a 7th that could mean a run. Here's the 2-2 delivery by Arroyo. That one's up the middle, knocked down. Arroyo will pick it up, make the flip over to first. So a leadoff double goes nowhere. Miles again stranded. The Cardinals still with the 2-0 lead. Out of here at their ballpark on the banks of the Ohio. As last season they won 42 and lost 39. This year they are 31-30 here on their home field. While they hit a lot of home runs here, and I do mean a lot of them, so do the opponents. Here's a guy who can knock it out of the ballpark for the home club. Adam Dunn takes the off-speed delivery from Reyes. He struck out his first time up.
There's only 2 Cardinals who had seen Reyes at all, so they're getting basically their first look at him. And usually second or third time through the order, you're going to get much better swings.
Fastball that he went around on. Marquez, the home plate umpire, didn't ask for any help on that one.
You can always throw face-high fastballs by an uppercut swinging power hitter. I mean, that's just where most pitchers like to go on Dunn. If he lays off it, there's where the walks come in.
Reyes's delivery is down low. We were talking about it in his first at bat. It's going to be the 3rd season in which Dunn will have 100 RBIs, 100 walks, and 100 runs scored. And our own Joe Morgan, former Big Red Machine second baseman, is the only one to do that. Ooh, that barrel of the bat went into the dugout. It's a base hit. So Dunn is on with a leadoff single against Reyes here in the 4th inning.
There's a big man missing from the rotation of Tony La Russa, and that's Mark Mulder. Last year he won 16 games. The big lefty is rehabbing. We don't know exactly when he's coming back. We do know that he's close, and they could use him back in the starting rotation. Although Mulder was struggling along with an ERA over 6, it was testament to the fact that he was going out there taking the ball, and he wasn't 100%.
The Cardinals, who relied on pitching in their big seasons they've had with Dave Duncan as their pitching coach, are this year 8th in ERA. The Reds are 11th. But the Reds have been able to get it done because of all the bats. The Cardinals are struggling to get it done with the bats right now. Mulder on that DL with a 6-5 mark and that pretty high ERA Steve was talking about, and opponents a 3.10 average against him. That too big. No, we'll see how Mark Mulder does. Can't be relied on by the Cardinals at this time because they just don't know. They can hope, but that's all.
Well, they're hoping that he's ready to go when Cincinnati comes back to St. Louis and they go at it again back the home of Tony La Russa.
Cardinals 2 runs 6 hits. Cincinnati no runs 2 hits. A costly error in the first inning. One of the runs unearned for the Cardinals. Reyes' delivery to Brandon Phillips is a strike on the outside corner. Good pitch.
Phillips has a lot of wiggle in that bat. At times with the Indians, they thought he was too free a swinger, strike out too many times, but coming over here, Jerry Naron said, I'm not going to promise you anything, but you will get a lot of playing time. If you earn that spot, you'll be playing every day, but you're going to have to earn it. And he's done just that.
Acquired from the Indians for a player to be named later on April 7. Drives at center field. It's in the ballpark, though. Jim Edmonds will put it away. Brandon Phillips is retired. So Phillips out of there. Even though this ballpark surrenders homers, that's not the place you want to go for it. It's 404 to dead center. A lot of room when you get between the power alleys and dead center field. You want to try and get that ball between the foul lines and the power alleys here. That's where the home runs are hit. One down in the fourth inning. David Ross coming up. See the most home runs, 188. Toronto 175. And then you got the White Sox, Baltimore, and Philadelphia. Those are the parks that have surrendered the homers. And of course, a lot of that depending on the team playing there. And Cincinnati, they lead in home runs. They had 246 total home runs hit here last year, and they hit 126 of them.
Seems a little strange not to see Coors Field on there, but what with the humidor and all?
A little humidor can solve a lot of problems. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Last night's hero takes it down low. Strikeout victim his first time up. Major League Baseball has said they've gone out and looked at the balls being used at Coors Field and that they're okay, that they're not mushy.
From a pitching standpoint, I agree with him. 3-1-0 games this year.
In a ballpark where you never had shutouts or one-run ball games. Here's the 2-0 delivery, and he'll foul that one back. 2-ball, 1-strike count on Ross.
David Ross has proven to be a pretty steady power hitter, a guy that you can't take for granted anymore, and he was never known as a guy that could consistently hit the ball out of the ballpark, but that's what he's been for the Reds this year.
2 game-winning homers with the one last night. Acquired on the 21st of March from the Padres. Big lead at first base. Adam Dunn, if he could run, would have gone on that one.
Well, normally he does run, doesn't run all that often, but runs when it really hurts you. And Reyes wasn't looking at him at all.
He took about 5 steps over there at first base.
Well, he's 5 for 5 in stolen bases. Again, he doesn't steal often, but he could have walked into second base that time.
I think he's angry at himself for not going on that last pitch, and now the signal given by Tony La Russa or Duncan from the dugout to throw over. Because after he didn't go, he took his helmet off. You saw him over there with his head down, and La Russa saw him halfway down to second base. Either Duncan or La Russa will give the signs to the catcher to be relayed to Reyes. Short lead at first now, and he hit him. That is the 3rd hit batter, and every one of them's been on a changeup.
Same thing, no release point on the straight change, and that's what's got Reyes into trouble. You look at the bottom part of the order. It's a straight change. It just kind of floats right there between the 2 and the 6.
So 3 hit batters in the game for Reyes, who came in having plunked only 4 total in the year. He's almost reached his yearly total here today. And now again the Reds get the opportunity with 2 on. La Russa pacing.
Tony knows if he doesn't win this game, the Reds are a scant game and a half back. When this game was originally scheduled, most people felt that the Cardinals would have it safely in hand and the Reds would be battling the Pirates for the basement. Thanks to Wayne Kriske and a lot of guys doing a great job with this Red organization, it hasn't worked out that way.
They got 3 games coming up with Cincinnati and St. Louis next week. There's that big sweeping breaking ball we've seen. In for a strike one. Castro drew a walk. The only walk surrendered by Reyes his last time up. Castro hitting 8th. Arroyo on deck. Dunn is down at second base. Ross is on at first. 1 away. Cardinals have a 2-0 lead in the 4th inning. Cincinnati's won 2 of the first 3 in this 4-game stand. Last night it was an 8-7 win on the walk-off homer by David Ross. On Tuesday, a 10-3 win with 3 runs in the 7th and in the 8th inning by the Reds. Monday the Cardinals had it their way as they won it 13-1. Yeah, those are the scores of the 3 previous games. 1-1 delivery. He leaped out at it and fouls it back. This has been a home run series. That first game, 5 runs in the first inning for the Cardinals. Then Tuesday, Friel 3 for 4, 3 runs. And then the walk-off by Ross off Jason Isringhausen, the Cardinal closer, in the ball game last night.
And in the game last night, the Cardinals got off to a 4-0 lead with that grand slam in the first inning, and the Reds just kept on coming back.
And they're going to have to come back here in this one. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Runners off first and second base. Castro takes a fastball. It bounced off Bennett, bounced off Castro, and bounced into Mother Earth.
Well, sometimes you have to let a little air out of the glove, and I think that Bennett got crossed up. He was looking for anything but that fastball. He's fortunate to get the glove up. Looks like it also deflected off. Might have got a piece of the umpire and Castro both.
Castro right in the helmet.
Here's the signs. I expect when I put it down like this to get this pitch.
See, it's 1, 2, and 3. Then he's turning back to home plate umpire Marquez and going, "What the heck was that?" Marquez going, "Thank you very much for at least having hit your glove. Otherwise, it would have hit me right in the face." All right, 2 ball, 2 strike count. Reyes has walked 1, struck out 5, hit 3. That one is going to be high in the air to right. Taguchi is under it, makes the catch. Dunn tags. He thought it was a third out, and it wasn't. And Dunn goes to third, and Taguchi commits a mental no-no. Jimmy Edmonds, the center fielder, was hollering at him that there are only 2 down, but it was too late to prevent the runner from moving up.
Well, you could see as soon as he dropped his head, Adam Dunn, who was tagging up without any thought of going to third base, just takes off. See, Dunn goes back to the bag automatically, and Taguchi thinks that's out number 3, drops his head. In the meantime, Dunn alertly takes third. We've got runners at the corners, and Arroyo's probably hit the ball as hard as anybody in this Red lineup today.
Well, here's a break for the Reds. They get that runner over to third base. Now Arroyo flied out to right his first time up, 2 down. David Ross remains at first base. And Taguchi's praying that runner at third does not score. Good stop by Bennett.
Also, you have a tremendous advantage here. You have a tendency to cross up your catcher with multiple signs. Pretty much you're getting 1, 2, and 3 with nobody at second.
So it was all planned that way, right?
Makes it a lot easier for Reyes to pick up what to throw. That's the outside fastball.
1-0 count. Reyes trying to pick up his right fielder right here, and Arroyo hits it to center. Jimmy Edmonds is on his horse, gets there, and hauls it in. Arroyo retired, and no runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left on base. The Cardinals with the middle of the order that does a lot of damage. Crowd on hand here in Cincinnati, and the Cardinals with a 2-0 lead, trying to even the series. The Reds taking the 2 out of the first 3. Wayne Gretzky is one of the reasons the Cincinnati Reds are where they are. He's the GM. Congratulations. I said it privately, say it publicly. You've done a hell of a job.
Thanks, Gary. It's been a lot of fun.
What is a philosophy that you came into this market, this team with as a general manager?
Philosophy, I guess long range was to put as good a organization together in player development and scouting. And coming in on February 8th, I had to put a lot of attention right away into the major league team. And just to be aggressive, and try to upgrade at every opportunity, whether it's on a waiver claim or a trade or what have you. And so far, so good, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Todd Hollinsworth is here today, and he is active. But how in the world did you turn over almost the entire bullpen and get 3 lefties when just about everybody in baseball is looking for lefties?
I guess, Steve, it's just we just had matches with other teams, and I don't know. It's just one of those things where we had players that other people wanted, and I was aggressive. I did. You know, with Kearns and Lopez, those were 2 guys that other teams liked as well. But in Washington, they were able to help our bullpen with 2 people, and Cormier and Loesch are other people our scouts liked. So
he got a hold of that one deep to right field at his way back, and goodbye home run for Chris Duncan. The rookie outfielder for the St. Louis Cardinals delivers their 2nd home run of the ball game, and they extend their lead to 3-0. We always get the GM of the other team in when home runs like that are hit.
Time for me to leave.
I'm sorry.
Well, first we have to ask you about the Majeski trade as part of the deal with.
I was afraid that might be a segue
with the
you,
Nationals, but we know that he had a sore arm. He said that he's had it for some time. As a general manager, is it a buyer beware situation, or what exactly do you do?
Well, there's some of that, Steve, without a doubt. There's only certain things you can scout, but then the rest of it, you hope you're being dealt with on the up and up, and it's not a real popular topic with me right now, as you can tell.
Well, I know you have to be circumspect about it, but he was a very valuable member of the Nationals, a pretty good guy out of their bullpen, especially when he was feeling pretty good. And you can see by that ERA that there was something plaguing him over here, because 12.54.
Well, he's had a lot of appearances,
Yes.
as you know, Steve, the last couple of years, and obviously that enters into the equation. But I'd tell you, I'm just so thankful. It's nothing structural, and with tired arm, you can give him some rest.
Back to the positive side of this, could you have imagined, as we move into the second week of August, that you would be sitting here 2.5 games in back of the St. Louis Cardinals and controlling for the moment the wild card?
If you'd asked me that in spring training, I'd be lying to you if I thought that would be the case. But I think we've really earned our record. Our players have really done a tremendous job, as has the coaching staff. And it's a little watered down National League. The American League just really took it to us in the interleague, and that's why you see so many teams around 500.
Albert Pujols gets the base hit and fell down. That was the Ewing and awing as he tried to take a big turn to go to second base. The ball bounced away from Phillips on the throw in from the outfield, or they might have had Pujols at first base. But Phillips had that one skip by him, and so Pujols was able to get back. This has been a strange game. A lot of just little things that have happened in this ball game that have made a difference. Jimmy Edmonds already had a home run, 2 RBIs. Runner on at first base. Edmonds on the off-speed delivery that time. Here's the homer that he got in the third.
I will say this, Dave. We won 22 games in spring training, and I think the feeling was we were better than where the prognosticators were picking us.
I've talked to some of your players too, Wayne, and they said that when the front office and ownership makes a commitment to go out and add consistently to a team, whatever needs come around, you can't help but pick them up. And I think your whole team feels that way, and the commitment that Bob Castellini, the owner, and you have made, gone out and filling the holes as you can. I know, like everybody else, you have a budget. It's not all that high, but you've done a remarkable job going out and doing it the way you've done it.
Well, absolutely. Ownership had made the statement from day one at their first press conference. If we were in the hunt at the trading deadline, they would ante up and improve the payroll and do what was necessary to stay in contention and get to the postseason, and they backed up those words.
Are you ready now to stay with what you've got here to see this season through?
Would I be comfortable, or barring injury or anything like that? I like the team as it is right now. I sure do.
You'll be looking.
Always looking, whether it's now or November or January, February. I think every general manager owes it to his team to act in that manner. So, but based on where we are right now, I like our team.
Runner on at first base, Jimmy Edmonds. Run already in. We wish Steve Phillips was here.
Absolutely.
Who joins us for many of our day games.
Because, he dispassionately evaluates each and every trade on its merits without any bias. And
any trade come to mind?
The one trade that he mentioned that was the worst trade in the last 10 years. Did that involve you?
I think it did. And my scouting fraternity have come to my defense. They have not said a lot of nice things to say about Steve Phillips, but he and I had a good laugh about it the next day. It was... I had to call him.
It's helped make your ball club. I mean,
well,
and of course we know Steve is a wonderful evaluator, which is one of the reasons he's not a GM any longer.
Steve and I are good friends, and we remain good friends. I just wish he was here so I wouldn't have to take these shots behind his back.
We do too, but then again, we do it.
Yeah, we do it because he's not here. We pretty much like to think of him as the Colonel Sanders of former general managers. But, he's got a full head of gray hair, and I notice yours is still dark.
Mine's thin. I can't have any cornrows in this thing.
Come to work.
You could have one row.
Yeah,
one cornrow. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that today. That's what my cohort said. As a Cy Young Award winner, he thought cornrows right help, but he only had enough hair for one.
Just
cornrow.
That's all I could do.
A cornrow. Arroyo has a cornrow going out there right now as he vies for that 10th win. It is foul back. Spezio's had a walk, grounded out. You saw Edmonds strike out. Pujols still at first base now with one away.
I want to know, is Steve backed off on that? Is like the worst trade in the last 5 years, maybe, or which way? Where is he at on that? It looked like he might be.
I don't think he's
moderating a little.
Has he? I don't think so.
We haven't talked much about that.
No.
I think maybe
That's fine with me.
You'll expand it maybe 12 years. I don't think it could be 12 years. Now, there were a lot of bad trades in the last 10.
I think he's in hiding, actually, if you really want to know what's going on.
Witness protection program.
Yeah, witness protection program.
Can we wait 2 years and maybe if it is the worst, I'll fess up? Let's wait a couple years.
Well,
How's that?
a lot of people really like Bill Bray, a left-hander out of your bullpen. And again, finding left-handers out of the bullpen is a very difficult thing to do. And you've been able to do it. Eddie Guardado's another guy that gave you somebody at the end.
That one drilled deep to right field, way back, and goodbye home run into the bullpen. Mercy. Scott Spiezio delivers a 2 RBI homer. Albert Pujols will come in ahead of him. We told you there were 12 home runs by 11 different players in the first 3 games of this series. The Cardinals are continuing that direction. His 3rd home run in the series for Spiezio.
He got the ball down where most left-handed hitters love to hit it. And in this ballpark during the daytime, down the line is unforgiving. Aren't you glad you came up?
Wow.
Well,
we're not going to tell Arroyo you were in here while this was going on. Arroyo's given up a lot of home runs, second most in the league coming into the game at 23, and 3 more added today, fouled off by Taguchi. How about Todd Hollinsworth, the latest acquisition? Why? He's here today.
Yeah, Gary, we've been kind of looking for a left-handed bat off the bench. We had sent Dwayne Wise down prior to a trade that was made, and we've been looking for that left-handed bat off the bench. He could be a threat in the late innings and also able to play the outfield defensively.
This one will be handled by Friel in right field. Taguchi is retired, 2 down.
He's comfortable in the National League. He's been a pinch hitter. He's got a lot of experience, and we claimed him on waivers, and we were able to work something out with Cleveland.
Well, you've made a lot of deals with Cleveland. It's worked out for your team exceptionally well, and we'll see down the road how it works out for the Indians. You certainly paid a wonderful apprenticeship. You spend a lot of time in an organization that has developed some great players. And then, of course, the Minnesota Twins and Terry Ryan. Getting an opportunity here, how exciting was it for you to go to your first spring training knowing that you were the boss and you could determine what the team looked like?
Well, the good part was we were on the west coast of Florida, and I could still see Terry once in a while. That great mentor, tremendous guy, well respected as much as anyone in the game, tremendous evaluator. I learned so much from him, and I can't say enough about it.
And it's nice to have those contacts, isn't it? That one taken out to right field. Friel, look out. You'll be called off. Griffey's got it. Wayne, always great to see you. We wish you continued good luck on the season. Thanks for coming by.
Okay, Gary. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wayne Kresge, who is the GM of the Cincinnati Reds. The big homers continue. Spiezio, a 2 RBI shot. It is 5-0. The Cardinals came into this game 9th in the National League in home runs. They have hit 3 today off Bronson Arroyo. Now the Reds in a big hole, down 5-0. They've only had 2 hits off Reyes. A single by Hatterberg in the 3rd inning and a leadoff single by Dunn in the 4th. That's it. Yet Reyes has been anything but overpowering. Ryan Friel, couple of strikeouts. You say that, but I guess if a guy's got a shutout going, giving up only 2 hits, he's overpowering.
Well, if you don't get Friel in this situation, you open the door to some Cincinnati scoring because you're going to start facing the heart of the order.
And he didn't. The second walk he has surrendered, and it is a leadoff walk here in the 5th inning. And this will be the 3rd time out of 5 that the leadoff man has been on for the Reds.
And with Barry Weinberg, the trainer, going out there, they want to take a look. There might be something wrong with Reyes. Could be a blister problem, but this is never a good sign, especially with the problems that St. Louis has had with their starting rotation.
Reyes obviously had said something to the trainer, Barry Weinberg, or to Tony La Russa, because they were ready to jump out there. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, remains back looking. Reyes coming off a win over Milwaukee 4-3 in his last outing, and he worked 5 innings. There are the numbers for today.
Well, they're still meeting at the mound, and it looks like the bullpen is starting to work for St. Louis. So There's some sort of discomfort for Reyes, but not enough apparently to leave the game at this point.
All right, 24-year-old right-hander is making his 11th start for the Cardinals. Will continue on for the moment. Scott Hatteberg, 1 for 2, has picked up a single. La Russa will keep a sharp eye on what's going on the mound. You had Hatteberg, then Griffey, then the cleanup batter Encarnacion up for the Reds as they try and make yet another stirring comeback. They have made a season of that so far. This is a ball club you do not count out when they get behind. The victory last night was the 7th time they've won a game after they trailed by at least 4 runs. It is the most such comebacks in the National League this year. And it was the 19th time that the Reds scored the winning run in their final at bat. That too is the highest total in last at bat wins in the majors. Pretty good comeback team, especially in this ballpark. Hatteberg had the single his last time up. Friel leaning towards second, not running. That one taken to right center field. Jim Edmonds over. He's got it lined up and puts it away. 1 away. Hatteberg retired.
Well, normally you'd have to worry about Friel stealing. He's their most prolific base stealer with 24. 5 runs down, however, and the heart of the order coming up. I'm not sure they want to take a chance.
Well, fans hoping for the long ball here from Griffey, who has struck out and popped out. He's got a runner on at first base and 1 away. They need base runners, but at this point of the ball game, you get your big bats up there, you won't mind getting the runs on one swing of the bat. It's amazing Cincinnati is 2.5 games out when here in the month of August as a team they're hitting .242 coming into this game. That's not very much, but the home runs have delivered the W's for him. Friel is making Reyes sit for a long time.
That's one of the reasons, and another is what Wayne Kriske has done with that bullpen. That bullpen used to be a tremendous liability for Cincinnati, and now it's become one of their strengths.
They have needed it. ERA is 11th in the league. Both they and the Cardinals have won their games with the bats and not the pitching. Griffey out in front of it. Pujols, there's one. Relay, Eckstein to first, and a double play. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on. 5 complete. Cincinnati, our day game. Cardinals lead. Matt Weber doing the video. There's a sign of the standings from the bottom up with the Reds trying to catch the Cardinals 2.5 games behind.
Anthony Reyes has really walked the tightrope today. He's been in a whole lot of trouble, but so far kept this high-scoring Red team off the board.
Bronson Arroyo hasn't won in 9 games, trailing here 5-0. 4 losses, 5 no decisions in his last 9 starts. He's given up 3 home runs. He is now tied with Jason Marquis of the Cardinals for the most home runs surrendered by a pitcher in the league at 26. There's a tale of 2 seasons. Mercy. So far the cornrows haven't worked.
Location's been the problem.
Gary Bennett, Reyes the pitcher, and Eckstein due up.
Too many pitches in the seats.
Jim Edmonds, a big day. Couple of RBIs and a home run. Home run by Chris Duncan leading off the 5th inning. 2 RBI homers. Scott Spiezio also in the 5th. Spiezio has had a tremendous series for this Cardinal team with 3 home runs. He has picked up 5 hits and 10 at bats with 3 homers. And that's just what the Cardinals needed when Pujols isn't hitting it all that hard. Arroyo's hit 100.
He needs a very easy inning here if he can get it.
Fastball fouled back by Bennett, who has struck out twice. Crowd has really been tempered here today. These Reds fans exploding last night with that walk-off homer. But this big house today has not had much to cheer about, with a couple of singles. 6 have been left on base. 2nd inning, they left them loaded without a hit. A couple of hit batters and a walk. And Bennett is gone. Third time he has struck out. 8 strikeouts for Arroyo. Yeah, I put it off for 9 starts trying to find that 10th win, so maybe cornrows will make a difference. And he's got him on today, but not right now. He's given up 5 runs on 9 hits. And Jason Marquis, here's a good one for you.
Well, Marquis can hit, and that's one of the things that Tony La Russa said he would be forced to do, is use Marquis as a pinch hitter because he has a short bench. We talked about St. Louis carrying 13 pitchers and Scott Rowland with an iffy back. So Marquis, who always has swung the bat well, getting an opportunity as a pinch hitter today.
So here are the 2 pitchers who've given up the most home runs in the National League facing each other.
in a very lively ballpark.
Marquis has given up 26. So has Arroyo. There's Scott Rowland, who's out of the ball game for the back spasms that took him out yesterday and not available today, according to Tony La Russa before the game. Said he doesn't want to hit him unless it was an absolute emergency. So now Marquis, with 1 down, gets a chance to pinch hit. Arroyo's delivery to him, and wouldn't you know it, ground ball to first. Hatterberg makes the play over to Arroyo to get the out. 2 down.
Nice play by Scott Hatterberg. Soft breaking ball. Pulled the first, and Hatterberg, a converted catcher, doing a nice job of it, as was Arroyo, getting over there in plenty of time.
2 down, nobody on. David Eckstein coming up. He has singled, scored a run, struck out, and grounded out. Cardinals last year as a road team were as good as they were at home. They won 50 both home and on the road. This season they are 1 game under 500 on the road. That has been a big difference for this club. Eckstein takes that to Dunn, and that's going to do it. So Arroyo retires the side in order. Reyes is out of the ball game. Cardinals with a 5-0 lead. If they win this game, it'll be a 2-2 4-game series, and they'll turn to their long inning reliever Adam Wainwright. And when you turn to him, you look up. 6'7", 205 pounds.
See the ERA at 2.48. This is going to be one of their starters of the future, but right now working out of the pen and on for the 45th time.
And the pitch is taken down low as Edwin Encarnacion, the cleanup batter, who's been hit by a pitch and popped out, will stand in. And a breaking ball by Wainwright misses. Reyes out of there. 5 innings, no runs, 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts and 3 hit batters, and Wainwright on. How's that for that's a modern day line right there. You got a guy pitching a 2-hit shutout, and he comes out of the ball game in the 5th inning with a 5-0 lead.
I think there was something wrong with him. Otherwise, we didn't see Barry Weinberg going out to talk with him.
Because even though he threw a lot of pitches and was struggling along, he was getting along.
But I know there's no way that they wanted to go to the bullpen this early, because now you've got to cover 12 outs.
Adam Wainwright out of Georgia, Brunswick, Georgia, formerly with the Atlanta Brave organization. That one off the fist, left center field, no man's land. Edmonds dives, can't get it. Good backup by Duncan. And Encarnacion is on with a leadoff single there in the 6th inning.
Great effort by Edmonds, and a very good job of sliding behind him by Chris Duncan. Edmonds came on to try to make this play and took the full out dive, just couldn't get there.
Good play by Duncan to be right behind him.
Otherwise, it's a 2-base hit.
Yep.
And now you've got the double play still in order for a guy who begrudgingly hits ground balls.
Adam Dunn, he has had a single and has struck out. Only the 3rd hit for the Cincinnati Reds today, and the fastball is up high. Wainwright could really make a world of difference for the Cardinals in the run for the postseason, because not many teams have guys who are legitimate starters working in middle relief. He is a legitimate starter who could give them some innings in the final 2 months, and he can be a workhorse, and they may need that. 1-0 count. Off-speed pitch, fouled off, bounced off the ground, and then up into the leg of Dunn. Reds trying for a comeback win here after the walk-off home run to take a 2-1 series lead last night. Jerry Naren's ball club. It would be a real come down not to be able to come away with that big third win of the series here today. They've got a 5-run deficit to overcome. Wainwright off-speed pitch will miss on that one. 2-1.
This is a big trade that brought Wainwright to St. Louis. He was acquired from the Braves with pitchers Ray King and Jason Marquis in exchange for J.D. Drew and Eli Marrero. Marrero just designated for assignment. They believe Wainwright is going to move right into that rotation comfortably next year.
Here's the 2-1 delivery, and that is a strike at the knees. 2 balls, 2 strikes. No argument from Dunn on that one. Dunn, you know, is looking long ball here. Would like to get around to be able to pull it. 34 home runs, 80 RBIs, 82 walks, and 133 strikeouts. What a series of numbers. 2-2 delivery. Wainwright trying to break off a pitch that time, and that just hung, but fortunately for him it was outside.
That shows you the patience of Adam Dunn. That's one of the reasons why he walks as much as he does. Year after year, an on-base percentage up over 400 for a guy that strikes out like he does is pretty impressive.
Pretty amazing. Short lead at first base for Encarnacion. Pujols comes off the bag. Ooh, nasty pitch. Came inside on the fist that time. So Dunn is retired. Wainwright a strikeout.
Talk to you about the high fastball with an uppercut power hitter, and you very rarely see contact. That's exactly where the pitch was. A perfect pitch. He got it right under the logo on the inside part of the plate, and Dunn had no chance.
Good placement by Wainwright. So good that Dunn took a long extra look out there. That's when hitters are going, oh man, you got me. Here's Phillips up. Brandon Phillips with a runner at first and 1 down. And he'll take the breaking ball outside. Slider away. 5 runs, 9 hits for a Cardinal team looking for their 62nd win of the year. And La Russa would love to get that road record back to 500. Can do it with a victory here. Then they move on to Pittsburgh. Play a series in Pittsburgh, and then the Reds will be coming right back to St. Louis next week. These 2 teams seeing a lot of one another in a 2-week period. 9 games. 7 games.
The Reds are going to have a shot to climb back into the race in the Central, and if not, try to keep a little daylight between themselves and the rest of the wild card.
Wainwright, big time heater upstairs.
I remember seeing him just coming back. He had hurt his elbow. He was at the Arizona Fall League. I think it was 2004. He wasn't ready quite yet. The arm wasn't strong enough, but he built it up. He's a big, strong young man. And he's paying his apprenticeship out of the bullpen like Brandon McCarthy is with the Chicago White Sox.
He only appeared last year in 2 games at the major league level. His first 2 major league games in his career. Breaking ball had him fooled but missed with a pitch, and a 2-ball 2-strike count.
One of the things
trying to get it going.
One of the things as a pitcher that really aggravates you when you've outguessed the hitter and you know you can get him because most likely he's going to take a surprise breaking ball and then you miss with it. There's no way Phillips is going to swing at that. Just happened to dip out of the zone.
Now he will look heater on this pitch. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and he got it, and he couldn't catch it. So there's the second strikeout for Wainwright. Take a look at our pitching summary. It is brought to you by Office Depot.
Look at Reyes, who did an unbelievable job considering that he was pretty wild here today, but he came away unscathed. As far as Arroyo is concerned, plagued by the long ball once again, and the left-hand hitters have done him in to this point. Giving up 3 home runs, all to left-hand hitters.
And 2 down here after the leadoff single. Encarnacion remains at first base. David Ross hit by a pitch, and he has struck out. A couple of hits at 6 at-bats, including the walk-off homer last night in this series for Ross. And the breaking ball is there for a strike.
Well, he showed the Cardinals last night that he can turn around a high fastball. Jason Isringhausen came on, threw a high fastball up out over the plate, and he hit it about 450 feet.
11 of
left
his
center.
Yeah, 11 of his 14 home runs have been hit here in Cincinnati for Ross. And a strike taken on the outside corner that he wasn't real sure of, and it's 0-2.
This is when you have the luxury of trying to get the hitter out of the strike zone. Either that face-high fastball, the one they call higher than high, or with his good curveball, one of those dipping out of the zone.
No reason to throw a strike here, right?
Not that I can see.
Yeah. See if he'll chase, set up way outside. And he got him. So he strikes out the side after the leadoff single. Another runner left on. Pujols will get it at bat. Cardinals lead it 5-0. Cincinnati. Gary Thorne, Steve Stone, and our cast for the day game. First ball hit in the air to right field. It is deep. Duncan got a hold of it, and it is hauled in by Friel. Chris Duncan, who had his 9th home run his last time up, bidding for another one leading off the 7th inning. Bert Bronson looking for his 10th win.
They're painfully aware here in Cincinnati that this is his 10th opportunity at his 10th win. And if they're going to have any hopes at all of catching St. Louis or making the wild card, they're going to have to rejuvenate Bronson Arroyo. He's going to have to hit some better spots and deal with left-handers better than he has today.
He is going after a mark he just not as soon have. Since 1900, no major league pitcher has ever won at least 9 of his first 15 and then gone winless for his next 10. If Arroyo does that, it'll be the first time in 106 years that has happened. The Elias Sports Bureau does it again. That one grounded to short. Great play. Castro running throw. Yeah, got him. Good pick. And a great play by Castro.
Now you see how valuable utility players are. Castro can play any place on the field, and he makes a great play to his left. Nice effort on the other end by Hatteberg at first base. Gets there just in time. That was a good scoop by Hatteberg, and it took a sure base hit away from Albert Pujols.
We mentioned earlier how Hatteberg has turned into a really good first baseman along with the offense he's given the team. And you see the kind of plays that help an infield out and reduce errors. And Hatteberg one right there, and quickly there are 2 down. Arroyo now retired the side in order in the 6th inning, trying to do it here in the 7th. Jimmy Edmonds, a home run, his 18th in the 3rd. RBI single in the first, 2 for 3. Arroyo's retired the last 7. That coming after the Spezio 2 RBI homer in the 5th inning.
Even though he's behind on the scoreboard, what he has successfully done is taken this game deep into the game and kept them out of the bullpen. Because it doesn't get any easier for Cincinnati as they move along. Get Philadelphia over the weekend.
Edmonds going the other way. Foul ball. Stays 0-2.
How about for an MVP, although their team is probably not going to get there, but Ryan Howard is having just an otherworldly year.
I think because the team's not going to get there, he probably won't get it, but he's certainly going to draw some votes.
Going to wind up with 50+ home runs.
Yeah. Pujols was the early pick when the Cardinals looked like they were going to run away with the division. Then it didn't happen. Pujols has cooled off a little bit. That's no longer an automatic MVP again for Albert Pujols. Arroyo's off-speed pitch. Jimmy Edmonds takes it to right field for a base hit. So Edmonds, who came into the game 0 for 9 against Arroyo, in 4 at-bats today, has had 2 singles and a home run. And he is on with the 10th hit of the ball game for the Cardinals. They'll try and expand that lead they've got here in the 7th inning. Scott Spezio. Spezio came in 0 for 7 against Arroyo. He has picked up a walk, a ground ball out, and a 2 RBI homer. That came in the 5th inning. Here it is.
Well, although Spezio is a better right-hand hitter for average, he's got much more power left-handed. All 8 of his home runs, including that one from the left side.
Breaking ball that turns away from him. Steve, you're talking about the left-handers. The left-handers now have gone 7 for 14, 3 home runs and 5 RBIs today against Arroyo.
That's why they're going to have to change the game plan if Bronson's going to have some success. He came into the league, maybe surprised a few of the left-handers the first time around. Now they're very familiar with that sweeping breaking ball coming in. and he's going to have to do something with his fastball. Either learn how to consistently sink it or cut it. Something to neutralize the left-hand hitters, because last 10 starts they're killing him.
He is now, with the 3 home runs he's given up today to left-handers, he's given up 19 of the 26 home runs he surrendered to left-handed hitters. And he's grinding along here in the 7th inning with Spezio, another lefty up there. Switch hitter. Takes that one to right field. Friel come right back to where he was standing and put it away. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. 7th inning stretch time, our day game. Put some balls out there in the Ohio River. Well, maybe not that far. Would have to be on the hop, about 10 of them actually, to get there.
Just string together a few hits first.
Yeah. Running out of time here in this ball game. Reyes went 5, no runs, 2 hits. Wainwright on in relief, gave up a leadoff single and struck the side out in the 6th. Castro, the pitcher, and then Friel are due up for Cincinnati here in the 7th inning.
I think it's Javier Valentin in the on-deck circle.
He is waiting to pinch hit.
He's another switch hitter, but all of his production have come from the left side. Here's a look at Javier.
Reyes has a chance for his 4th win of the year. That one inside out to right field. Higuchi drifting back will put it away. Castro is retired. 0 for 2 and a walk for Juan Castro.
And in the situation that Adam Wainwright finds himself in, where you're facing a hitter one time, even if you go 2 1/3, sometimes 3 innings, you really only have to have a fastball and that really good overhand curveball. When he does, however, become a starting pitcher, and it won't be this year, I don't believe, but he'll have to start mixing in a 3rd, maybe even a 4th pitch, or a couple variations of that fastball. Right now the overhand curve is pretty close to unhittable when he gets it in the zone.
Here is Javier Valentin. He is pinch hitting. Arroyo is out of there, so unless the Reds come back and get 6 runs in the inning, Arroyo is not going to get his 10th win today. Gave up the 5 runs on 10 hits, including 3 home runs. Big fastball inside that he cannot get around on.
Valentin has a couple of pinch home runs this year. He's been very busy. 35 pinch hit appearances. Only 2 of them as a right-hand hitter.
Far and away their leader coming off the bench in that department. He's got 17 at bats as a right-hander and 121 from this side of the plate.
It's one of the reasons why Wayne Kriske talked about Todd Hollandsworth and his importance. He's a left-handed bat they can use off the bench and keep Valentin, who's one of their catchers, still available.
Wainwright with 1 down and nobody on comes in with a breaking ball, bounced to Bennett. Valentin will take that in a 2-ball 2-strike count. There's the career pinch hit number that he has put up, with a couple of home runs as a pinch hitter. Wainwright got it in. That one drilled to right field. Add another. Way back. Goodbye. Pinch hit home run. Javier Valentin.
That a no-doubter. The Reds on the board. The shutout gone, and it's a 4-run deficit. And the one thing about the Reds in this ballpark, with this offense, you just can never put anything in the win column until that 27th out. This team will keep coming back at you, and they've got the bats to do it. It's a fastball right down the middle. It's the 3rd pinch home run of the year for Javier Valentin, and he took it to a deep part of the yard.
The 6th home run that Wainwright has given up this season for the Cardinals. That is just the 4th hit the Reds have had, and that is their 1st extra base hit. Valentin gets it coming off the bench. Makes it a 5-1 game. Now Ryan Friel. Here's where they want to continue the inning. You got the home run in your number 9 spot. Now you want to get a couple on, or at least 1 for the big bats in the middle. A chopper that hit right in front of home plate. Played by Miles. Gets it over and gets the out. Friel retired. Major League Baseball congratulates Detroit on winning the Junior Boys Championship and Los Angeles on winning the Senior Boys Championship. in the 2006 RBI World Series in Compton, California at the Major League Baseball Urban Youth Academy. Great program for the inner city players. And the Little League World Series, which is coming up, which you'll be seeing on ESPN, ESPN2, and ABC. 4 teams involved in the urban program are going to be there playing some exhibition games at Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Off-speed breaking ball in the inside corner to Hatterberg.
I know you're going to be there doing the games. I was able to do them one year, and it's just a beautiful place. I think you should spend a month there. How long will you be there?
I do. Taken inside.
All in 10 days, though?
All in 10 days. It's a great time. We have a wonderful time with the kids and the officials of Little League Baseball. It's a grinder because we have all 35 games are going to be broadcast that are played in the Little League World Series. That means you have some days where you have 3 games that one crew is doing and 2 games for another. So you have 3 ball game days. It's your kind of affair.
You said one of the little leaguers was 6'7".
We have a little leaguer who's the tallest ever. He played last year and he's coming back this year. He weighs 225 pounds. Base hit into center field. Hatterberg gets on. So Hatterberg's got the signal. Amazing how we just work into these things. Little League World Series regional finals presented by Kellogg's. Friday there'll be 2. 7 o'clock Eastern. Columbus Northern of Georgia faces Greater Dunedin of Florida. That's the Southeast Regional. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern, D'Iberville, Mississippi will meet South Lake Charles, Louisiana, the Southeast Regional. All coming up Friday.
Well, you seen your segue.
I'm going to Waco. Way to go. You think I'm kidding? Cincinnati Red fans hoping.
Hatterberg kept it alive for Ken Griffey, who's not swinging the bat real well today, but you don't have to swing it well if you can pull it. It's only 325 down the right field line, 328 down the left field line in a very lively ballpark.
Now they put the switch on. Second baseman deep on the grass in right field. Eckstein over towards the bag at short. Griffey is hit into a double play, popped out and struck out. 5-game hit streak coming into this game. He is now 4 for 15 in this series. Wainwright misses inside. Look at the defense for Griffey. And bunt down to third and get on, but that's not what he gets paid for. 1 strikeout. 2 down. That's going to be a base hit up the middle. Making the turn is Hatterberg. He'll go to third. Jimmy Edmonds will get it back in. 2 on, 2 down.
And a huge crowd here for an afternoon game in Cincinnati, and now they're making some noise. The Reds giving them something to cheer about as Griffey goes back up the middle, foils the shift, and keeps the inning alive.
And brings out pitching coach Dave Duncan from the Cardinal dugout. Bullpen is ready if needed.
One thing to bear in mind is last night they used Isringhausen to try to wrap up an inning and 2/3 save. He did not.
Tony said, LaRussa said this morning, I asked, would you use Isringhausen again today? And he said, absolutely. Flores up in the bullpen getting ready, the left-hander.
He's getting ready for Dunn.
You've got Encarnacion, the cleanup batter, then Adam Dunn. Encarnacion, a right-handed hitter, so LaRussa will hope that Wainwright can get the final out here in the 7th. He surrendered the homer to Valentin, the pinch hitter. Now 1st and 3rd. A 5-1 ball game with the Cardinals leading, and Encarnacion hit by a pitch, popped out single. He has a 7-game hit streak as he stands in. 341 at home, 246 on the road. He loves the Great American Ballpark. Takes the fastball inside for a ball. Those are very solid numbers. You hit over 300 with runners in scoring position, and you will be up there among the leaders on your team and in the league. Albert Pujols happens to be the leader in baseball at 427 right now. And that number is beyond the frame of any kind of norm. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Big Adam Wainwright and Encarnacion doing battle. Hatterberg on at third base. Griffey with a single is on at first. Pitches from the first base side of that slab, and the fastball misses up high. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
As far as St. Louis is concerned, this is the key out of the game. The key confrontation between Wainwright and Encarnacion.
Right-handers hitting only 171 against Wainwright coming into this game. Breaking ball misses up high. He's having trouble spotting the strikes right now and getting behind the hitters.
That curveball just stayed up. He's real lucky that Encarnacion took it, because a lot of pitches up there wind up in the seats. You can bet Encarnacion is guessing fastball, and Wainwright would love to keep it away.
3 ball, 1 strike count. Runners off first and third. Encarnacion a grounder. They got a force out at second base, and it'll be taken there by Eckstein to get it. So they get 1, but that's all here in the 7th inning. Javier Valentin coming on as the pinch hitter, his third pinch hit home run to make it a 5-1 Cardinal. Javier has come out of the bullpen, and the pitch is taken for a strike. So Taguchi leading it off in the 8th for the Cardinals.
Coffey, a big right-hander at 6'5", 230. Has 7 saves this year, but he's used in the middle now with everyday Eddie Guardado called on to be the closer.
That one inside out may make it through. Nobody to cover first base, no play anyway. So Taguchi's on with a single as Phillips able to pick it up, but he had no play. That one just perfectly positioned. His first hit of the day, 1 for 4. Phillips has had a tough day out there at second base.
He's been tumbling all over, coming up just short, and seemingly everything hit to that side. And he's a pretty good defender.
Yeah. Big error first inning charged to him on what could have been a double play. Line drive hit to him by Pujols. Throw back to first to get Eckstein. Hit Eckstein. He went to second base and ultimately came around to score in the first inning, the unearned run. Here's Aaron Miles and a pitch out.
They were thinking about a hit and run or a steal. If Tony La Russa is thinking about it, this is a good time for it. You very rarely, if ever, see back-to-back pitch outs.
Taguchi's 8 for 11 in stolen bases. Encarnacion has moved in at third base on the grass in case of a bunt. Runner goes. Hit and run was on, and it is foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike out. The 4th game of the 4-game set from Cincinnati with the Cardinals here. Our day game. Great to have you with us. The Cardinals went out to a 5-0 lead before the Reds could get on the board. I'm Gary Thorne along with Steve Stone and our crew, and a big crowd on hand under cloudy skies, 84 degrees, humid day here in Cincinnati, and an excited house here if the Reds could just get it going. But they left a couple on in that 7th inning when they needed to get probably 1 more across. That one, I think, got a piece of Ross as it was fouled off.
Miles has had a good day with the bat, and he's been part of the revolving door situation after letting Mark Grudzielanek go. He went to Kansas City, putting together a solid year, but they tried Davy Cruz, Junior Spivey, Hector Luna, who they traded to Cleveland, Rafael Belliard, who they got back from the Indians, and Aaron Miles. So they've used 5 different guys to try to plug that hole at second base created with the departure of Grudzielanek.
Tony La Russa's had to do a lot of managing this year in regards not just during the game but to the lineups. He was joking about that before the game in a way, and it's not funny for him, but that's the way it's been. Pujols up for a while, rolling out for a while, second base wide open, outfield positions, right field at times open.
They sent down Rodriguez. They've used 11 guys in left field.
Yep.
Chris Duncan looks to me like he's going to be a pretty good hitter, so he's filled that void out there.
Duncan's had a home run today. Pitch swung on and missed. Miles out in front of that one. And Coffey gets the strikeout. On our day game, take a look at some of the news and notes going on around baseball in the major leagues. Papelbon, second blown save in a row. The Red Sox suddenly struggling, especially with Veritek out. Los Angeles 11-game win streak. Garcia Parras come back. And Mike Piazza returned to New York. Couple of home runs against Pedro Martinez. Not enough to win, though, but he did get a standing ovation from the Mets fans and a curtain call.
I think it was a very classy thing to do, and it doesn't help that the Mets are having a terrific year, and they're in the process of sweeping Mike Piazza's San Diego Padres. They lead them 7-3 in the 9th inning. And they won 2 close games, the first 2 games of the series.
That game going on this afternoon at Shea. Gary Bennett has struck out 3 times. He's looking the sombrero in the face, hoping to avoid one of any color with the 3 Ks he has put up. Runner at first base. Miles. That one's going to be fouled off. Taguchi rather at first. And a 2-strike count on him.
1 Encarnacion in the on-deck circle. Just in case Gary Bennett does not ground into a double play. Sometimes you help the ball club by no contact.
That's right. There's Encarnacion loosening up. 11 hits on the board for the Cardinals now. 6 for the Reds. Coffey's pitch hit out to right field. Friel drifting over towards the alley. And there are 2 down. So Bennett's got an 0 for 4, but no K on that one. And Coffey, after giving up the leadoff singles, got a chance to get out of the inning. Encarnacion will be coming on. Wainwright. He'll hit in Wainwright's spot. Wainwright worked a couple of innings. Gave up the home run. The lone run on the board.
Encarnacion got off to a terrible start this year, but has that batting average up to .285. It's at 16 homers, driven in 62. So with the retirement of Larry Walker, Encarnacion was brought in to play right field. They were really worried about him early, but he started to come alive. So Tom Hume goes to the mound, and they want to talk about just exactly what they're going to do to retire Encarnacion.
Dangerous ball player in this ballpark in particular, because he can pull the ball and he does have power. You make a mistake to him and he'll get that run right back. Encarnacion 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter. So Tommy Hume has his say on what they want to throw here to Encarnacion, and he'll come back to the batter's box.
It's a sellout here today, the 7th of the year. The first time they've sold out 3 games in a row since back in June of '04. So the fans are starting to feel it for these Reds.
They are responding. 39,591. They were promised by new ownership early this spring that the new owners are going to bring a playoff team to Cincinnati. They didn't say when. They just said, we're making you a promise. They may fulfill that a lot sooner than even they anticipated. If this Reds team can find a way into the playoffs, either with a division or the wild card.
They certainly have untied the hands of Wayne Krivsky as far as making deals. Little deals here, little deals there. You can't make that big one because they can't take on that much money. But instead of making a deal that makes you 10% better with just one player, you make 10 deals that make you 1% better in the same result.
Remember, they won only 73 games last year. They finished 27 games behind the Cardinals. They have already won 59 this year, 2.5 behind St. Louis. Encarnacion with a big cut will foul that one back, and a 2-ball 2-strike count with 2 down. Jerry Narron happy about this number this year. You can see in 04 and 5, not a lot of success against the Cardinals. They've guaranteed themselves that they're going to do all right this year. They're 8-3.
Well, the reason why there is a race right now as far as the St. Louis Cardinals are concerned is their inability to beat the Reds and the Cubs. The Cubs have really handled the Cardinals this year.
Encarnacion with a big cut goes down, swinging. No runs a hit, 1 left on. We go to the bottom of the 8th. That's right now are 4.5 games behind. You go up or down the ladder. the Dodgers and Arizona both a half game out. Colorado 3 games out. And the Giants 4.5 behind. Giants have won only 3 of their last 10. Left-hander Flores comes on to do the pitching. 30-year-old Adam Dunn.
Randy Flores on for the 50th time. ERA up over 5. We talked to you about the scarcity of left-handers out of the bullpen and the fact that Wayne Krivsky was able to acquire 3 of them during the season. Something very difficult to do.
If you're left-handed and you can throw the ball to the plate
and get it over, you'll have a job for well, not 1,000 years.
No,
but it just seems like it.
And that one to right field is hit deep by Dunn. It is off the yellow. It is not out. And he will have one of the longer singles, and he's going to argue that it's a home run. First base umpire Larry Young immediately signaled that it was in play. Now, if it hits that yellow marker, it's out of here.
Well, there's no doubt it hit the yellow marker.
But it didn't go out.
No, it hit the yellow marker and it was in here. And Tony La Russa is going to take this opportunity while Jerry Narron is arguing with Larry Young to make a change.
Going to make a pitching change. La Russa will. Dunn is at least on first. And it looks like that's all. Well, the Red fans still hoping they are down 5-1, but they got the leadoff man on, and the argument of whether this was a home run or a single.
Obviously hit the yellow line, but it did stay in the ballpark. I believe that is a single. Larry Young believes the same thing. Jerry Narron can't believe that it was a single.
And Flores gets to work to one batter, gives up the base hit, and now the newly reinstated to the major league right-hander Brad Thompson is on.
He'll be in his 33rd game after a trip down to AAA. Last year, a very good year for him. 4-0, the ERA under 3 in 40 appearances. This year, not quite as effective, but he's back as one of the 13 pitchers on this team.
Well, the Reds trying to mount another one of their stirring comebacks. Brandon Phillips stands in, leadoff man on here in the 8th inning. Hit by a pitch, flied out and struck out. Again, we go towards the bottom part of the order. Breaking ball that didn't. Fans reacting because Reyes, the Cardinals starter, hit 3 batters, all with changeups.
That was a curveball, and I just don't believe you're going to be thrown at people in this situation.
No. Short lead at first base for Adam Dunn, who got the single. Good sinker right there, fouled off to even the count up with 1 ball and 1 strike.
If Thompson is going to be successful, it's going to be with that sinker. He's not particularly overpowering. Usually has good control.
Dunn on at first base. Reds need base runners, down 5-1 here in the 8th inning. Woo. Almost got one right there. That just barely missed the jersey. Fluttered it with a breeze going by on Phillips. Only La Russa's over there going, guys, you know, we really don't need to put anybody else on here. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
It's very difficult to look like a genius of a manager if your bullpen does not come through.
Is it ever? Brad Thompson's delivery chopped to third, played by Spezio, relay Miles, and they turn a big double play.
That was a great effort by Miles on the turn. Phillips can really run. Didn't get out of the batter's box all that quickly. And from Spezio to Miles, who quickly got rid of it, they make it look like an easy 2. Good job by Miles. He just got rid of it, and no chance at all for Dunn to get a piece of him. He was lumbering down to try to break it up, but Miles was gone.
That is a big double play. So the leadoff single goes for naught. Flores ends up with no part of an inning a hit and zeros the rest of the way. And now Thompson will try and find the 3rd out against David Ross. 2 strikeouts and been hit by a pitch. Grounds to third, foul. The Reds have had a couple of innings today. The 5th inning for one, a leadoff walk, a double play that Griffey hit into, ended that one. They left the bases loaded in the 2nd inning when they never got a hit, but they had 2 hit batters and a walk. But again, the bottom part of the order could not come through. And they left a couple on in the 4th inning when the bottom part of the order came up with 1 down and 2 on, and Castro and Arroyo could not deliver. Pitch misses outside by Thompson.
And when they look back at this one, if indeed they do go on to lose it, they'll take a look at the many opportunities that Reyes gave them early and the many opportunities that they squandered.
Reyes, pitcher of record for the Cardinals, through 5 innings with no runs on 2 hits. May have gone out injured. We're not sure. There was a visit to the mound the inning before he went out. Whether or not there was something wrong or not, no announcement made by the Cardinals. But he did come out of a ball game pitching a 2-hit shutout in the after 5. That one hit off the end of the bat. Did not intend to go around. That may have ridden right in and caught him down at the bottom of the bat. 2-2 the count. Cincinnati has gone 1 for 16 with men on base today. That's what we were talking about, with opportunities to try and move somebody around, and they just have not been able to do it. This is the ball club that's ranked 2nd and 3rd in the league in on-base percentage and slugging percentage. That's how they've been winning games. But today, Cardinal pitchers have held it down, and Jerry Naren's club's not been able to find the big hits. Two ball, 2 strike count on Ross. That one he hits off the fists, just protecting the plate. Souvenir into the seats.
Thompson keeps sinking that ball inside, and Ross keeps yanking it foul. You move it a little more out over the plate and sink it, and that's where you get your ground ball to the left side.
Thompson, the 13th pitcher at the moment. We've been talking about the Cardinals are carrying. Another one of those right off the fist. La Russa said that probably come next Tuesday or Wednesday, he will go back to 12 pitchers. They're just caught in a jam up of games where he needed the extra. But he said in the National League, you can't go with 13 pitchers for very long because it just limits your ability to make moves. When you have 13 pitchers, you're limited really to just 1 double switch, because you usually have a catcher that you can't bring into the ball game. And he does not want to go with that for very long. So Tony said, I think Tuesday or Wednesday we'll be back to 12 pitchers, and I'll have the extra guy on the bench. 3 ball, 2 strike count with 2 away, and that one's outside. A little door open. Two down, 1 on. And Juan Castro, the number 8 hitter, coming up. 2 fly balls to right and a walk today.
Recently acquired Todd Hollinsworth in the on-deck circle if Castro can keep it alive. Here's a look at Todd. Originally came up as a Rookie of the Year with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he's made the round since then.
5 consecutive Rookies of the Year with the Dodgers during those years. He was 96. 2 down, runner at first base. Castro outside of first, foul ball. Sorry, and interesting with all the player moves Cincinnati has made. I was just thinking of Jimmy Leland's comments on the expanded rosters come September 1st. Adamantly opposed to it.
But he said he would have been opposed to it and was opposed to it when he was managing clubs that finished way back, because he thinks it gives an unfair advantage to teams that aren't all that good.
Force out at second base, and they'll get it. Miles gets it over to Eckstein. Castro is retired. Top of the order will be coming up, including Pujols for the Cardinals, who lead it. St. Louis Cardinals trying to make it a 2-2 game series with a win. They've got the 5-1 lead. 3 home runs off Bronson Arroyo today. Edmonds is 18th. Spezio is 8th, a 2 RBI shot. And Chris Duncan, the rookie, his 9th. We will get a new pitcher. both in the game and in this uniform. Cormier's on to face Eckstein at the top of the order. 1 for 4 today and a run scored. Cormier, can you field? The answer is yes. 1 pitch and 1 out.
Very good bunt by Eckstein, but Cormier did a great job of going there barehanded and making the play. See the ERA below 2 overall. 48 appearances before he got here to Cincinnati. With Cincinnati on for the 6th time, an ERA up over 5. But that play will keep you out of some trouble.
Yes, it will. You don't want Eckstein on. He was acquired on the 31st of July from the Phillies. Minor league pitcher going the other way. Debut on the 1st in a loss against Los Angeles. Real Cormier now. Left-hander out of the bullpen against Chris Duncan. Duncan got his home run in the 5th inning, leading it off. He is 1 for 4. Takes that pitch down low.
This was a no-doubter. It's a breaking ball that didn't break very well, and Chris Duncan hit it way back.
Duncan among the rookie leaders offensively. He is 3rd in batting average among rookies and moving his way up the charts in the home run department as well, with 9 and 22 RBIs. Two ball, 1 strike count. Dave Duncan, pitching coach and dad, gets to play both roles. And his dad, so quiet, unassuming. There he is. You know, every time his son comes up, being around his son at the major league level, it's just got to be a great thrill. I don't care how long you've been in a game, as Dave has been there for a long time as a pitching coach. That one taken in the air to left center field. It is way back. Dad, celebrate. Goodbye home run. 2 in the ball game, 10 on the year. And it is a 6-1 Cardinal lead.
We told you how lively the gaps are in this ballpark. Duncan has a home run to right, and now he has one into the bullpen in left center.
So the Cardinals get that run back, his first career multi-home run game. That is going to be hit number 12 for the Cardinals, and the 4th home run they've hit in this game. And a shot to second base. Phillips, as Albert Pujols has had a couple of line drives at Phillips today.
We were told that Chris Duncan had a whole lot of power, and that shows you he does. His dad kind of enjoys that.
Oh yeah, it's great, isn't it? That's my kid.
It's my kid, the everyday left fielder.
Yeah.
And he had to beat out a whole lot of folks to get out there every day.
So 2 down here in the 9th inning. Jimmy Edmonds has had one of the home runs, his 18th solo shot in the 3rd inning. 3-hit ball game, though. 2 singles, a homer, and he has struck out. So Edmonds getting his average up to 266 now. That one fouled off the other way. The great part, I would think, for Dave Duncan is he would not want to be the hitting coach. It's perfect to be the pitching coach on the major league team where your son is not a pitcher and is a hitter.
Especially if he goes into a slump.
Yeah, you just watch. Keep your mouth shut and get to watch your kid play.
Hal McRae's going to be able to fix him. No doubt about that.
Don't come to me on that one. 2 solo home runs today for Chris. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Edmonds takes it up high. And it's 2-1. Winning big ball games is what the Cardinals are trying to do here. Rocked out on Tuesday, and then 9th inning loss. Hatteberg's got it. Edmonds is retired. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on. Chris Duncan, left fielder. 5th inning, led off, home run. 9th inning, 1 down, nobody on, another one. 6-1 Cardinals. Bottom half of the 9th inning. 6-1 Cardinals lead it. Member of our crack crew, Jonathan Evans, had a rush home yesterday. Why? Abby Grace Evans has joined us on this globe. Congratulations, Mom and Dad.
It's great. Another viewer.
Only thing you think about are the numbers. You've had too much of that Kool-Aid in Bristol. I'm telling you. Numbers, numbers, numbers. Abby Grace. Great name. So, Jonathan, hope you enjoy not sleeping for a while. Pitch is outside. And a 2-0 count. Todd Hollandsworth first at bat as a member of the Cincinnati Reds.
Reds and the Indians have done a little business, and Hollandsworth came over from the Indians. He's no stranger to the National League.
There's the left-handed bat they wanted off the bench. And here in this ballpark, he can lift a couple. He's got a chance to have a few home runs here in the final 2 months of the season. Brad Thompson has stayed on to try and finish it up, not going to Isringhausen, not in a closed situation in any event. And Isringhausen had a blown save yesterday, but just as soon give him a rest today in any event. So give Thompson the chance to finish the game out. Tony La Russa bringing him on in that 8th inning.
Gently imploring his reliever to get the ball over the plate.
Gently.
Yes.
For the moment. 3-1 strike count. Then the top of the order, Friel, Hatteberg, and then Griffey and Encarnacion if they can get that fire. Right-hander Thompson got it in, broken back ground ball to first. Albert Pujols, Thompson over to cover, and there's the big first out in the bottom of the 9th inning. We're talking about that. People wondering why. Look, you get guys who pitch in the middle, do a good job. If they do a good job, why can't you make them a closer? And we were talking about the outs 24, 5, 6, 7. Those last 3 or 4 outs in a game are very different.
Well, it seems like you can take a guy with great stuff as a setup man and move him to the closing role, and it's very difficult for him to nail it down. There's a lot of good setup men around, although they are not without their value. They're very valuable also in this day and age. But guys who can come in at the end, especially with runners in scoring position, Mariano Rivera, guys like that, Billy Wagner, tough.
Eckstein had it lined up. Pujols reaches and gets it. They got the out. Friel is retired. Take a look what's coming up.
Very big series in Chicago with the Tigers coming to town. Of course, the Giants and Dodgers, that great rivalry. And the Angels and Yankees. Maybe, just maybe, playoff preview or 2 in there.
Red Sox have lost 4 in a row, falling 3 games behind the Yankees. Detroit still 8.5 up on the Minnesota Twins, making a vicious run in the Central. Ron Gardenhire, their skipper, saying our goal is not to be the wild card team. Our goal is to overtake Detroit. Their chances of doing it,
good
he
luck.
admits, not good.
Not good, especially with Liriano out, and he's out for an indefinite period with some elbow problems. He's their future. I don't think they're going to mess around with him if there's any question whatsoever.
However, in the wild card department, they are a half game ahead of Chicago and a game and a half ahead of Boston.
It's going to be a great wild card run.
Oh, great job by the Twins. We have seen some clubs with tremendous efforts this season. New York Yankees, for one, with all the injuries. Minnesota looked like they were just going to fall in May and June and be out of it. The Reds, one of the most surprising teams in baseball. Detroit, the most surprising team in baseball.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
And the best team in baseball. Hatteberg, 2 down, nobody on in the 9th inning. He'll get a gapper over to get it. Duncan and can't. Plays it on a hop. So Scott Hatteberg will keep it alive for the Reds here in the 9th with a 2-out single. Eight hits on the board for the Reds. They've had only 1 extra base hit, the home run by Javier Valentin as a pinch hitter. The other 7 hits have been singles, including the one picked up by Griffey in the 7th inning. He has a 6-game hit streak going now. They won't hold the runner here in the bottom of the 9th. The 6-1 lead. And he'll take it for a strike.
They've had 15 base runners. Ample opportunity to put some runs on the board. Just the inability to hit with runners in scoring position has plagued the Reds all day long.
Starter Reyes could be the winner for the Cardinals. He'd be 4-5. Bronson Arroyo could be the first guy in 106 years to start out with 9 wins and then go 10 consecutive starts without getting his 10th victory. If he loses, he'll be 9-8 and 0-5-5 in his last 10 starts. Griffey towards second base. That'll be played to first by Miles, and that is that. The Cardinals come back to take the 4th game of this series and make it a 2-2 series.
Really nothing happened very much except 4 clicks off the schedule. That's all Tony La Russa wanted after dropping 2 of the first 3. So they're exactly where they started. 3.5 games up, 4 in the loss column, and St. Louis still has the division lead.
Reyes wins at 4-5. Bronson Arroyo 9-8 is the loser. There was no save in this ball game, and the Cardinals used the long ball to win this one 6-1. Next on ESPN, Outside the Lines, coming up. Steve Stone and all of our crew here in Cincinnati. I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for joining us. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. The St. Louis Cardinals maintain that lead of 3.5 games over Cincinnati by splitting this 4-game